Well, we'll be talking about Chicago. Get ready, Chicago, because the military is coming. So I'm gonna wait for some people to come in. I want to welcome everybody. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we're about to get started tonight. I'm doing another live here, live stream, and we're going to be talking about all the wonderful things Chicago is going to be experiencing once the YNs and other vagrants, that have been removed out of the city. Others was going to be sitting behind bars in Cook County, and we're going to talk about them. Just waiting on people to come into the room and things, and we're going to go from there. So as you guys start to come into the room, we're going to be talking about Chicago is going to be liberated once and for all. Welcome somebody already into the chat. Hello there, and goodbye. Hello and goodbye. But yeah, we're going to be talking about it. So, there's reasons why I don't really have all of the lights on tonight, but that's one there. Boy, that light is bright. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we're going to be talking about it and discussing about the military that's going to pay Chicago a visit. Yep. Governor Pritzker, Trump said he's sending the military to Chicago. And that's going to, like Trump said, that would probably be their next stop. Because as Trump mentioned, that a lot of black women that have begged Trump to send the military in. So, and he ain't lying, because there is a group right now called Chicago Flipping Red. And there are some people in there that I have talked with. One of them is named Danny C. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Jessica as well. Those are the ones that are leading the charge in Chicago. So while they're saying that Trump is lying about, talking about, like, in other words, that the people in Chicago don't want the military to come near, which is a lie. In fact, I know some people that are running or that are leading that charge. The organization is called Chicago is Flipping Red, and a lot of the locals there used to vote Democrat. Can you believe that? And we're seeing now, from because of the success with Trump from was it DC? DC, the District of Columbia, right? Talking about Washington, DC, that was infested with crime and violence. The Dems had every opportunity to clean that city up. They said it couldn't be done. They had a whole bunch of police officers and other types of law enforcement there in Chicago. You mean to tell me that Trump was the one that was able to clean up DC? How did he do it? He said he was going to send in the military. The military, ladies and gentlemen, is very trained for this type of stuff. Urban warfare, they're trained for this stuff. And it's amazing how Trump sent in the military into DC to clean up what the Democrats should have been doing. But it goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look at Laura Lightfoot and Brandon Johnson, right? Chicago ain't but 4 hours away, which I have been there many of times. So when they over here saying how the black women that didn't ask for Trump to come there and bring in the military, I beg to differ, because I know who the group is. It's called Chicago Flipping Red. You can go and Google it right now. So somebody is definitely lying. But I know those sisters ain't lying, because they are always on the press. Actually, that group spoke with Tom Homan about the ICE and all that. Chicago is a sanctuary city, right? Sanctuary city used to be, right? They brought this on themselves, though. They are the ones that brought this on themselves with failed leadership, incompetent mayor, don't know his front from his back. You think when Laura Lightfoot was the mayor? I remember when she was the mayor over there looking like Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Looking like a damn raccoon. Don't know her front from her rear. And then this other guy, Brandon Johnson, ain't doing no better. All the way up into the incompetence of Governor Pritzker. This incompetent clown got all this money. He know how to make money, but he sure in hell don't know how to run a state, let alone a city. Look at this stuff. Then they had that other incompetent mayor up there in what's that what's that city called over there? What's her name? The super mayor, Tiffany Hayard. um what's that city over there? I'm trying to think right now, Illinois. It's just been nothing but disappointment and disaster ever since, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? With this type of nonsense. You know, he got to have a sitting president to bring a military in when they had every opportunity to do it. You know, they had every opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. But did they do it? No, they didn't. They made every excuse in the book. That's just to let you know now you see the lies coming from the left. You see the lies, right? And it's being exposed every single day. They look so bad and so terrible with the same old tired excuses. The only thing they know how to do is attack Trump instead of fixing the damn problem. We don't need to hear about, oh, he's a tyrant, he's out of control. We don't want to hear that shit. That ain't gonna fix the fucking problem. We got YNs running loose, gangs and drugs. Fix the damn problem. That's what we're saying. How hard is it to do that? Nobody want to be hearing about Trump like that. Boy, I'm like Sam. I'm like I gotta agree with some of these people. You know, Stephen A. Smith. He ain't even lying. Fix the fucking problem, Democrats. But you don't know how to do it. You ran a whole fucking campaign on going after Trump when you should have been going after the policies relating to the small man, the little man, the middle class, the blue collar. Remember? You ran a whole fucking campaign going after Trump, and y'all are losers. Every last one of them. You mean to sit up here and tell me you still got some type of want to attack Trump when you should be attacking the failed policies, god damn it. And I'm fucking mad and sick of it. You let illegals in this goddamn country. And then you want to sit up in here and feel sorry for them when you should have been rocking with the American people. And that's what I accuse these old rhino ass Republicans and low down ass Democrats. Every last one of them. You are pitiful. You don't have no way to talk. Trump getting shit done, god damn it. And these motherfuckers can't seem to do it. You know? All of your leaders is bullshit. Why you think we're so damn mad now? Because we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. That's what happened, right? We've been lied to every time. Thanks, I appreciate you, Martin. We've been fucking lied to, right? What the fuck are we gonna get out of it? Attacking the damn president when you should have been attacking the policies, right? I mean, I should make myself a t-shirt with that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to control all this pressure because we got nonsense and bullshit. Two incompetent mayors in Chicago that didn't do a damn thing. I don't want to hear shit about Trump negative when you should be talking about your own party. Bunch of pussies. You won't even call your party out, but you got all this vitriol against Trump. I don't believe you. You ain't about that life. None of you. Right? Zoe Rose says, I'm glad I'm getting out of the Navy. Yeah, tell me why you're getting out of the Navy. But I'm gonna go back on my thing though at the same time though, right? Look at them, look how disgraceful they look. You know, you got Brandon Johnson looking all zesty. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, look at this guy, man. He's pitiful. These are pitiful leaders on the left. Your left leaders are pitiful. Every last one of them, right? Yeah. But you're looking like a baddie. Nothing wrong with that. Baddies are invited in my channel. Thanks for coming on this evening. Or tonight, I should say. But like I said before, this is bullshit, right? The middle class, I remember when the Democrats, I had family that voted Dems, right? But I'm going to tell y'all this. And some of you have been around long enough to know, they used to speak for the middle class. They were supposed to be for the downtrodden. They were the ones that's supposed to have had black folks' backs, right? Thank you for subscribing, Cammy. Thank you for subscribing, right? These are the ones that's supposed to be, having our backs, right? Looking out for the little man, middle class. What have their policies done in the past years past? What have it done? What have they done? Right? Nothing. They've been robbing us, right, of our taxpayers, funding NGOs, funding wars overseas, taking over other government, right? Setting up coups, all the shit they've been doing. And they haven't done a damn thing helping America, let alone one of their biggest constituents are black America, black community. They pissed on us. They fucked us over with the education. They fucked us over in our communities. They were the ones that brought in welfare for the black man and woman. They were the ones that split us up. They were the ones, right? When we talk about Lyndon B. Johnson, a known racist, that said I could have black people voting for the next 200 to 300 years. And he ain't lying. You got some of us that still want to be on the black Democratic slave plantation. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad as a motherfucker. And I'm going to tell you another reason why, right? Because when we look at it, there should be no reason in the world that we should have ghettos when America is one of the richest countries in the world. And we got crime and violence, drugs, prostitution. We shouldn't have this shit. If the Democrats were so damn great, then they would have fixed this shit. But they didn't. Who had to sit in the military? Trump, right? He sent it in. And Marsha, fuck you, bitch. Because I want to smoke today. Fuck you, fuck your family, fuck everybody. Blah, 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 bitch. How about that? Right? Yeah, thank you, Courtney. Because I'm going to get in these low-down ass Democrat asses. Because they ain't shit. Not any of them. I'm talking about the leadership. Gavin Newsom, fuck him. Fuck Maxine Wicked West Waters. Fuck that bitch too. That bitch ain't did shit for the black community since 1990, since she been part of the Democratic Party. And you know damn well I'm speaking the truth. You think I give a damn? The reason why I don't have the on, because I don't want to have all these mosquitoes over here. And there's some other issues. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You corny too. S. Campbell, you's a corny motherfucker too. You see how they come in this room? Because these are bitches, ladies and gentlemen. The ones that are bitches, right? You know, I ain't care. You know what? One thing about with me, I get trolls all the time, right? You go and look at my category, you can see my face, motherfucker. And one thing about it is, I'm a Second Amendment gun rights owner. So anytime you ready, and I make sure I don't miss. That's what I say for these pussies. Liberal pussies. That's what they are. Liberal fucking pussies. Shut up. Kate, shut the fuck up, right? MAGA all the fucking way, right? And I don't care if you don't like it. I'm calling your whole party out. Bunch of liberal pussies. They don't even understand the Constitution, y'all. They let their party get down. And we should have not allowed these motherfuckers to get down on this country. We are being overran by sociopaths. As I said before, thank you for the likes. Sociopaths run our country. Look up the profile of a sociopath. It's a mental illness, right? Whether they don't know right from wrong. That's exactly what who's been running the damn country. Sociopaths, especially on the left. These are sociopaths, ladies and gentlemen. All the evidence is showing towards a booty ass party. They bullshit ass party. They can't get nothing done. They attack what's right and they rah-rah for what's wrong. Instead of attacking Trump, you should be attacking the fucking problems in America. Thank you for subscribing, Wendy Grace Mason. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to buck rile on these motherfuckers tonight. I'm going to tell you. Because, you know, the thing about it is simply this. You notice with the liberals, they are the ones that created this problem. This party has been wicked since 1828. That's the date of the Democratic Party when they started. They were the ones for slavery, right? They were the ones for Jim Crow. They were the ones for what we say, Jim Crow, night. They were the one for all this shit, right? Segregation, redlining. This party did more destructive historical work towards blacks in America alone. Their party practices have never changed. They love cheap labor. They the ones that had to open borders. They were the ones that created the COVID-19 shit. These things that they have done against the American people, not for the American people, but for against the American people. And this is why you have some of these trolls and bots that come into these rooms, because a lot of them ain't really real, ladies and gentlemen. They just control bots. They are programmed to go after certain things when they hear the word Trump or MAGA. There are certain things that they know how to go after, right? They party wasted political money. That's why they had one of their own. What's her name? Linda Ling or whatever. She was actual a campaign manager. I mean, the one where they got the money, raised the money. They fucked all their money off with Kamala Harris. She was a big disappointment. She never had it. Look at it. Who are they leaders though, really? When you look at it, there's no strong leadership in the Democratic Party. Bunch of sociopaths is what you got, right? You're absolutely right, GNX Rising. This is a personality disorder. And I'm talking about the elites of their group. That's what it is. It's a mental illness. They don't have any right or wrong. They just do shit to do it. We should never allow sociopaths to be in leadership ever. Because all you're going to get is you're going to get what we're getting right now. They have waged war against the American people, spying on American people, right? Government and so forth. Look at this. They hate the Constitution. They hate what's right for the American people. All these people have been rah-rahing against the American people. They care more about people in foreign countries than your ass. That's a fact. They made all that fucking uproar and hoopra over the man in Maryland and all this other stuff. This is why the military has to come in. Because when they come in, I see ain't nobody out there messing around. We ain't got to worry about YNs and all the rest of them. And they coming to Chicago. He said it. He said, I might send the military in Chicago. And we know what that means. Ain't no might. They are coming. I called this a long time ago. Because once all these illegal criminals get rounded up, they're going to come on a domestic level as well, too. That was obvious. They're going to be coming to Watts and Compton and all these other areas. They get ready. They coming. They coming. You know, you ain't got enough firepower to fight against the military. If the cartel is having fucking problems, your black asses sure ain't got it for real. You ain't got it for real. I'm just a messenger. But guess what? I can show you better than I can tell you. That's for damn sure. Don't worry about all this other stuff. Just know that they coming. They coming. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Because they coming. Brandon Johnson, they coming. Pritzker ain't gonna protect you. They ain't gonna protect you. And all that money this motherfucker has, he could have made Chicago great. Naming the Democrat in any area, Wendy Wu, wherever, in Boston, they have the means of making Boston better. Did they do it? What about in Maryland? What about in New York? Right? They had the means of being able to do this. But no, they didn't do this. They want to convince you that Trump is the enemy. That's what they taught people to think. The media, Google Mockingbird, Project Mockingbird. And for my detractors, you know, because like I said, the people that ride with me for real know I'm speaking for real, you know. They speaking for real, you know. They understand that I'm speaking for real, and they support it. Anybody worried about the few little, you know, like I said, with the trolls and bots and all this shit, this thing here, you know, is a bunch of crap. They do this because they know they're losing. They're not going to make the midterms, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to make the midterms. They're not. You think that they're going to make the midterms? Do you really think so? You know, this communist regime, as JT says, those Chicagoans want safe communities. Yeah, the people do, because there is a group called Flipping Chicago Red, and you can pull it up. I know I talked to one of the ladies that runs it, and they always on TV all the time. They are begging Trump to come into Chicago. There's not enough pushback or holdback that Brandon Johnson can do. They're coming, and they're gonna clean Chicago up like they did DC. Already, you got residents. Thank you for the hearts. You got residents, right? That saying how safe it is. They can come out, sit out on the porch, walk around on the mall. They ain't got to worry about being jacked, carjacked, robbed, all this other stuff. They ain't got to worry. They could ride you know, that subway train that goes around the whole city. I've been to DC before, and DC is it's beautiful over there. Washington, D.C. is beautiful. They got that underground subway to go in a complete circle. Those that know the area know what I'm talking about, right? You even got workers, right, that work in the government that live in Virginia and other areas or the suburbs of D.C. because it's unsafe. And the ones that got to live there are threatened or under siege by these gangs and violence and so forth, where the Democrats had every opportunity to fix it. But they want to sit over here and talk about Trump. That's why the trolls don't upset me. I ain't worried about them. You know what upset me is poor leadership, dysfunctional sociopaths, people with a mental illness, right? Some type of sickness in their head. They want to push DEI and all these other bullshit instead of off of merit base, right? We didn't sign up for this shit, but they try to convince the masses of people. You know that the masses of people, I'm gonna tell you a secret. In America, the majority of the people are conservative. Only liberals are a minority group. But once again, we already knew that. But let the media tell us, oh, liberals are the majority, conservatives are a minority. Huh? Who believed that? Because it obviously shows that the conservatives, because the red states, they got problems like the blue states do. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. I could walk around with my gun like Lone Ranger, John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, no problem, right? But the blue states, because they don't adhere to the Constitution, they practice communism and socialism. Socialism and communism. These are the ones that they practice. One government, right? They believe in big government, stealing our tax monies, right? Setting up these regime changes in other countries and a lot of other shit they've been doing. And now it's coming out because the Tulsi Gabbard is bringing the evidence, right? Look at what they're doing to these cities. They have destroyed good cities. Detroit is one of them, just like Cleveland, just like Hammond, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis, beautiful cities, potential. These cities where a lot of you guys are from, potential. What about St. Louis? Been there, Missouri, right? Potential great cities. The problem is these are heavy blue states. I mean, cities. The states, or I should say the cities, are heavily blue. Illinois, blue. And look at the problems that they are having. They are having serious problems with the same conditions we're talking about in these inner cities. Crime is way out of control. Oh, they've even been caught fudging the numbers. We've been known that because it didn't add up. I've been saying we have more of an issue on black crime. Does any of these civil rights leaders in these conscious community grifting bastards ever want to tell you the truth? No. They say, oh, it's the white man. Oh, it's the problem with the Republicans. But they have never, ever show you the truth on the statistics with the DOJ, FBI. They were suppressing that stuff. Now we're going to find out what the real statistics is that backs it up for real, right? Because one thing that the Democrats do not teach their constituents is how to catch a fish. It's always about give me a fish. This is why they created the Give Me Society. That's what I call it, the Give Me Society. Because every time you got your hand out instead of working for it, how is that going to be beneficial to a community or to people? It doesn't work. This is why we have the problems that we have. This ain't rocket science, but you're going to have these so-called specialists tell you otherwise. You notice when they own this tweet, I don't even watch the news, first and foremost, right? I listen to real news, right, from real social media people that have more of what's going on than what is and than what the news should be reporting. But we know they're part of the problem. They're nothing more than the DNC on the news. Fake news. Trump had it right. He's telling the truth in regards to what it is. And this is one of the main reasons why they're getting so much pushback, called out on, right? Because there are a lot of liars. Brandon Johnson and them are running the course, and they hope and think that they can stop Trump. But you notice everything is steady being brought to the light. They're looking foolish. Trump been kicking their ass on every policy. He's been winning on everything. And they've been losing on everything. Ever since that girl lost to Kamala Harris, they've been downhill ever since. They ain't got no leadership at all. They are a ship without a rudder. No power to it, just drifting. Getting their ass socked left and right in the fucking face verbally. You know, that's why they get in here mad, because their butt hurt, right? And then here's the thing, though. They think they got something, even with the Epstein files. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you mentioned about the Epstein files. This is what the Dems are hoping. They said we got Trump. Trump don't want to release the files. Oh my gosh, we got him. If that was true, they would have released the files in the beginning back in 2015. You know why? Because ain't no Democrat, when they got a juicy thumb, when you think they're going to wait all the way to 2025? No, they would have released it. They would have released the whole files. Ask the Democrats why they didn't release the files. The Democrat deletes didn't want, they didn't release the file. They were hoping Trump and Pam Bondi was going to do it so they could look foolish. So they find that Trump name was on the list. They put his name on the list. Even Ghislaine Maxwell said, she even said it several times in her testimony, Trump was never on the island, you idiots. You think you got a gotcha moment or whatever. You ain't got shit. You ain't got jack shit, right? Like the most people know that you ain't got jack shit. If you had something, you would have already used it, motherfuckers. But you didn't do that because you didn't have shit. But guess what Trump could do? Get you for slander, though. Because you got to prove he was on that island. But we know many Dems and low-down Republicans and everybody else that was on that fucking island, right? He was on that damn island, right? And this is another reason. They got money. They spending our hard-earned money messing around with these pedos and all this other shit when it should be running the country, looking out for Americans, right? It ain't even safe walking around in certain areas. You know? Look at the CPL license. More and more people are getting CPLs now so they can halfway feel protected, right? They're not doing this because it's cute. They're doing it for a necessity. That's why I encourage all of you, you have a right to own a gun according to the Second Amendment right. Let no man or no one infringe on your constitutional rights, right? So this is what make America great. And we going back to the Constitution. Like I said, I'm a Second Amendment gun right owner. And I go down to the range quite often, though, too. Just like it's in your rights to do so. Thank you for subscribing, Polecat. I appreciate you very much. Because I'm going to heat it up tonight, whether they don't like it or not. I know a lot of you, the majority of you, rock and ride with your boy, you know. I'm back in the saddle because I'm kicking that real truth. We ain't messing around, playing around. We taking the country back because this is what needs to happen. Strong men make good times. Weak men make bad times. And when the Democrats was in office, they, look at it, produced a bunch of weak men, right? We're looking for strong men, alpha male men, right? And women, both men and women, right? We're going to take this country back and we ain't taking this shit no more. Don't be worried about the Dems, right? I wear my MAGA hat everywhere I go. You think I'm worried about a fool rolling up? You know, it'll be his last breath because I'm in my constitutional rights to protect myself, as you should, right? That's what it is. They make it so damn hard and difficult. New York should be a disgrace. New York, and I was born in Brooklyn, New York originally. I'm a native New Yorker. And it's sad how they fucked up New York. New York is one of the most socialist. It's one of these socialist ass type of states, communists that hate the Constitution. You know, they rock more with the LGBTQ stuff than anything else. There ain't nothing good coming out of New York no more like that. Trump got to send the guards in, you know, to get New York together, which he will, because I want him to. We all do. Don't you guys get tired of working in the city and they got to drive in traffic to get out to the suburbs to go home just to be able to rest and breathe? Who the hell is living in the city today? Only the people, most of the time, people that can't afford to go anywhere else. Or you got some people that do live in the city that live in these high rises, secured ass business. But you got to worry about coming out of there, though. That's the problem. You got to worry about being carjacked. You got to worry about being mugged or raped for the women, right? You got a lot of things going on in these dangerous ass cities that should never be. But what the Democrats do, this was how stupid that some of the local blacks are, right? The ones that rock Democrat, right? They're so dumb and stupid talking about Trump, this and that. Well, here's the thing about it though, right? It'll show you how dumb they are because what they should have been doing, right, is what is it? They should be building their communities, making their communities better, right? Working around with law enforcement, working around with their city officials, putting pressure on them to demand change. Did they do that? No. They don't even show up. A lot of them don't even show up at the town hall meetings. They don't even show up. They don't even try to be an advocate or try to advocate building up their community. It's a damn shame. We got to send the military in. It should be an outcry, right? Hands down. You mean you like living under a siege ass city? You like putting bars on your windows, right? You like not being able to go out of your house. Your house is your prison. And it's also your tomb, too. Because somebody break in, you're dead. That's your tomb, fool. You should be demanding better from your local government. But a lot of hardcore liberal Democrats, they cowards when it come down to their own leadership. They have all this tough talk for Trump, but they coward to their own fucking party. I've seen them in call down in action. Gavin Newsom could come down in their community right now. You know what they'll do? They'll be, oh yeah, you know, they won't even have the same type of. Don't let Trump. They be screaming, hollering, and yelling. That's how it doesn't even make any sense. It's just foolishness, right? Y'all should all, as so-called Democrats, should have this type of attitude against your own fucking party. They were the ones that put us in the situation in the first place. That's why I stay on their ass like a pit bull. If I had a chance to see or meet any of them in person, I would say how much of a traitor you are and how you done sold out the American people for chicken change. You know, I'm like James Brown, the big payback. That's right, I'm mad. The big payback. You gonna get it. The big payback. Yeah. Like that's what we gonna need. Dun, dun, dun. We need to get that James Brown on or whatever, you know? Sold me out. Yep, sold the American people out. We demanded better from you, you bastards. And that's why I'm glad that Judgment Day is coming. It's coming. It's already coming. They are nervous. They are afraid. Many of them know they're going to be locked up. And I can't wait because Obama, when they put his ass in chains, I'm going to be celebrating. I'm going to take myself out to dinner and celebrate when they get that big ear galoot. See Hillary Clinton, and all the rest of them. They all going to prison. Yeah, all and what they should, they deserve death. Just look up 18, look up the article, look it up. 18, right? We're talking about 18 US code 2381. Google it. You will see what treason means and what it is. And that's what they're going to be accused of, as well as creating an insurrection, a real insurrection in this country. We didn't ask for this shit, you know? Instead of running off of elected, that's why we always know every president is selected instead of elected. Trump is the only one that was elected, which is not a part of the elite class. The people that's a part of the elite class is all your other bullshit ass presidents. And this is why the country was going to pot and hell. You know, I'm just a regular average man that knows that. Don't let no politician fool you, right? Trump has always been a businessman, always been a land developer, real estate developer. This ain't nothing new. Oh yeah, he part of the elite class. Yeah, you got people that's part of it. That's why they hate Trump so much. They hate the fact that he's turned America around. They hate the fact that he's bringing tariffs. They hate the fact that he stopped the influx of criminals and immigrants coming into this country. They hate the fact that Trump actually deported thousands or millions of immigrants that was coming in this country illegally, right? They hate the fact that he had stopped the dangerous poison vaccine from COVID-19. They hate the fact that Trump is over here with the American people, rocking with the American people, putting America first, right? They hate that fact, right? They hate the fact that Trump is the only president that stopped China, right? They stopped China. They got China surrounded. China ain't big and bad as it used to be no more because there was a president and the patriots that rolled with the president, right? They don't have no power no more. They got their ass up on out of here. That's right. Took back our farmland that they were buying up, our infrastructures they were buying up. That was Donald Trump. That wasn't none of your presidents. You know why? Because they was in bed with him. That's why I accused them of treason. 18 U.S. Code 2381. That's what they're being accused of. Look it up. I ain't making this stuff up. They don't want you to know this. Your politicians and your sellout presidents, the ones many of you voted for, they the ones that sold America out, lock, stock, and bond. And this is the problem. We are taking back America. America first. The land of the free, the home of the brave. God damn it. This ain't the best country in the world. We would die for this motherfucker. Right? We ain't gonna let no damn communist motherfucker reign supreme over America. They ain't gonna do it. We stopped them. We stopped DEI. We stopped them. We broke and crushed woke. Woke ain't coming back no more. Transgender dead. We killed it. We got freedom of speech. Right? This is what it is. America, red, white, and blue for all, not for some, for Americans. Ain't no white America, black American, red American. We are all Americans, damn it. That's what we're talking about. This is what makes America America. And I want you to get up and celebrate and back who we elected Trump. Damn near 80 million of them Democrat. They looking at this shit saying, damn, I didn't vote for this shit. He over here trying to put transgenders, trying to put men in women's sports when women could be hurt. This is the nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. But I had to bring and come around a full circle as to why I'm so damn angry. Because they have fucked up these damn cities. They allow crime and violence to run supreme in these cities. You can't support that. And if you do, you're a damn fool. A damn fool, right? This is what we is. Treason, sedition, because that's what it really is. The Democrats ain't never been for the American people. Never. Because if that was so, slavery shouldn't have happened. Damn it. Jim Crow shouldn't have happened. Segregation shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened under nobody's watch. But it happened. And then they want to try to say a party switch. That's a myth and a lie. They try to cover up the fact and the truth. Then that's why they hate patriots like me. Because we speak the truth. We speak the truth, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't the only one banging on this stuff. It's many of us that's banging on this stuff. I wish it was in the daytime. I wish it was in the daytime. Got a lot of mosquitoes and stuff out here. And they love the light. Can't blame them. I'm trying to keep them out. I'm trying to keep them out. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are today. This is why the military, why you think Trump got to sit in the military? He got to sit in the military. Why? Because of our failed government, failed city officials, failed mayor, because of their incompetence, their lies. They're the same people say, oh yeah, our border is secure. Oh, the illegals ain't coming in here. Oh, Trump lying. Oh, this military, what's his name? Alejandro Mayorkas. And who was the border czar? Kamala Harris. They allowed these illegals in because they need, to tell you a secret, if you don't know by now, they need illegals. They need the voter block. And they were putting them on the census. Who had to kick him off the census? Trump had to write another executive order, I do believe, kicking them off the census. Getting their asses up on out of here. No birthright citizenship should ever apply to illegals. Because you're born here, no, they ain't how it's supposed to be. The 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment, let me educate you a little bit. 13th Amendment was in regards to the abolishment of slavery, right there. 14th Amendment, birthright citizenships to ex-slaves, to make them citizens in this country. 15th Amendment to allow blacks to vote in the voting process. Every black person and white and others, this is American history. You're supposed to know this stuff. Don't allow the illegals to give it to them, giving up what was given to us. They don't get that right as an illegal. This is the problem. They've had this Indian guy driving a truck. He doing an illegal U-turn, killing 3 people with this stupid look on his face. He looked just like a sociopath to me. He didn't have no remorse, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even bat an eye of no sympathy. Had that stupid look on his face. One of those Punjabi Indians that wear the turbans? Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's what he is. Come out of North India. He should have never had his ass in this country. But he came in here, right? He came in this country. Guess who gave him a CDL? The CDL was given to him by who? Over there in Washington State. That's who did it. They gave his ass a CDL. They should have never had a CDL license, ever. But they gave his ass one. Tell me why. Why did they give him a CDL license? You know why? Because they don't give a damn. They just bring over illegal, give him a driver's license. I had an illegal alien kill a friend of mine on the road, right? Because you know they can't, a lot of them can't drive because they don't know English. They can't understand do a written exam, take a test where it's required. They, that should have never happened. That Indian guy had to have an Indian interpreter that speak Punjabi or whatever, just to tell them what was going on. This guy should have never been on there, right? This is the problem of their failed. Look at this, and I appreciate it. Yeah, your brother have a lot of passion tonight. I'm usually not like this, but I'm passionate about what I stand for. I stand for us as Americans, for all. It's supposed to be America first. I never heard a Democrat ever say America first. It had to be somebody that they hate. It had to be Trump that said it. And Trump showing you America first. The big, beautiful bill. That's another thing. Big, beautiful bill. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on seniors on Social Security. There's a lot of things that's coming down the pipe, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that Trump is masterfully well blindsiding, just whacking upside their head, left, right, fucking hard, ladies and gentlemen. That the Democratic Party don't know they're up and down. Every time they try to tackle one fight, he got another one and another one. And that's how you got to hit them with flurries, man. So much where you're just making that party dizzy. Because eventually they are going to fall and they are losing power, ladies and gentlemen. They're getting weaker and weaker because now they don't have access to generate no more money. And it's surprising. We don't even see Antifa a whole lot now, right? Act Blue, that's another one in their think tanks, isn't it? They're running out of money, ladies and gentlemen. And when you run out of money, you can't cause all these false flag operations and shit like that, You just can't. You got to have money to do that. George Soros only got so much money. But if you can't get it from the American people, who can you get it from? Because all the wells have run dry. Trump made sure of that. That's why they hate. See, it makes more sense for Democrat elites and other Congress people that have been fleecing America. They hate Trump so much. But you as a citizen, who's rocking with the Democrats today? That's so passe today. Are you serious? They don't have no leadership or nor a leg to stand on. They can't even win a debate, even with your boy. They can't win a debate because all I do is hit their ass with logic. How can you fight against that? You for illegals, you for transgender, you for everybody else winning except for America. You got to be a damn fool because that would be sight of treason. And that means you're a communist, a socialist communist. That's what they are, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what they are, right? I've been going to Trump rallies. I know his policies very well, but with the TDS, meaning Trump derangement syndrome, it's so bad that they don't even read the policies. That's how bad it is. They act as if they know this man personally. I met Don Jr. too, by the way. I got photos with me and Don Jr. together. I met him, and I also met Trump's first campaign manager, Corey Landowski. True story. Last year, right? I did, you know, because had I would have listened to the Democrats, which I never do, they've been wrong on every damn thing. They don't have no type of wins, no type of successes, no real policies that help real American people. If you notice, all their policies is about overseas and other shit and illegals coming in this country. That's their policies, ladies and gentlemen. You can't be a Democrat and stand on this shit. It don't make no sense. You mean tell me you stand for transgender, having a man to play in a woman's sport to hurt your daughter? You got to be a bigger fool than I think you are, you know? This is the insaneness, the sociopath behavior that a lot of them have. And that's why I'm glad that we kicking their ass out of power, right? So therefore, these states are going to be liberated. And Trump ain't gonna stop. He going to every state across the United States, liberating them. I can't wait till he get to New Mexico too, because that state needs liberating. That border state, they under siege under there. Colorado, you know, I know they didn't stop that with Aurora. When it was even under siege on there, you had the governor and people, or the city, I should say. You had the people over there in Colorado. They were champion for the illegal Trudeau, these Mexican gangs and shit like that. That should have never happened on U.S. soil, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of political terrorists and a lot of political sellouts and treason people, right? Every time I hear that Wendy Wu's mouth, she's another one. Treason. Anti-government. She need to have her ass locked up. And I can't wait for a lot of them. Laura Beetlejuice Lightfoot should be locked up. Brandon Johnson should be locked up. This is in Chicago. This is a disgrace that these blue states and blue cities, that they allowed this shit. They are the ones that created it. It's an operation, ladies and gentlemen. Men and women in a political party that have structured and set up mass terrorism right here on the shores of America and have us under siege. There ain't nothing American about the Democratic Party today. They are nothing but liars, deceit. They even try to send their bots and send these old clowns and these old losers, that's these shields. And just to let y'all know, there's a lot of Democratic shields that they pay for on social media to sway, confuse, and run disruption on the stuff that I'm talking about, which is actually the truth. But their voices are getting weaker now, because some of them I don't even see anymore. I'm not gonna name no names, but I don't see many of them no more because they have running out of money. And this is why what's his name, D.L. Hughley? He sounds like a zesty bitch every time he opened his fucking mouth. You also got Ricky Smiley. These are the people in the black community that they put up as fucking figureheads like Steve Harvey, not Steve Martin, Steve Harvey, right? These are the fuckers that they put up as the figureheads in the black community because they say so. You don't tell me who to vote for. I pick for the best candidate, whether he's white, black, purple, damn it. If he's talking sense, even a parrot, if he's talking sense, you better listen to him. And don't worry about me. Just listen to my voice and hear if I'm speaking sense and speaking sensible to you and speaking logic and facts. That's all that matters. Everything else doesn't. But with the Democrats, they care about what it sounds like, what they look like, instead of the policies. You know? If you ain't learned with Kamala, you still running the same bullshit. That's why y'all gonna lose in the midterms. The redistricting is happening in your state, like Texas. All this gerrymandering, ladies and gentlemen, the Dems started it first. They were the ones that started doing this shit. So if the Dems could do it, well, damn it, the Republicans could do it too. The Dems are doing it. That's why they got that hood rat Jasmine, hood rat Crockett. They got her ass out of there. She's been a congressman. You got the what's the name, Al the Werewolf Green. You got these guys, man, looking like Dracula. You know what I'm saying? Half foot out of the grave. You got these type of people, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a joke. And and this is the problem though. You got cornballs like that don't have no policies. How long has she been there as a congressman? There's not one policy Jasmine Crockett put before Congress. None. She's worried more about being a diva than being married with a husband and doing the right thing. This is her problem. This is why look at Houston. Houston is fucked up. Look at that. They can't deal. They ain't just Houston. LA. This fucked up in certain areas. We can name the cities like I said before. And these are democratic cities. It should not happen that way. But it's happening. Instead of fixing the problem, they rather attack Trump. As I stated before, this is bullshit. New Orleans, thank you. Go up the cities, ladies and gentlemen. Name them. New Orleans is fucked up, especially after the floods. It's fucked up down there. Memphis, Detroit. Yes, sir. Say it. Come on and call the cities out. Call the cities out, right? This is exactly what it is. And these are these is many more. You know, you got, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Look at it. What's that rapper in Memphis? Young Dolph? He would have been around today had we would have had responsible people, right? Give me 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute, I got a phone call. Hold on for 1 minute. I got a phone call. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had a phone call real quick. Yeah, Young Dolph. He would have been around today. Look at you know what I'm saying, the other ones over there in Chicago. You guys know the rappers that I'm talking about. They all died at the hands on black crime. I didn't see one politician in Chicago. They did it if it got a little airplay, but no change, nothing. They didn't make it better. Got shot up broad daylight downtown Chicago. This is an area, a shopping area where you would think there would be no crime going on. You know, we could go out there, triple X. We can start naming these people, right? You know what I'm saying? You guys, you younger guys know who the rappers are, man. Come on now, you know who they are. You know what I'm saying? What's the boy out of Texas? What's his name? You know, we could go on and name them. All of them died. What's the one guy that died up there in what's that what's that golden what's that one called golden what's the one called go to Waffle House. I'm sorry, Waffle House. That's what it is. Right? And I think that was over there in Atlanta. Atlanta, I mean, I'm telling you, there ain't no place FBG, yeah, duck, yep, exactly. These are the people that lost their lives as a rapper with their own community, with their own damn people. And I didn't see not one Democrat politician do anything to curb and stop the violence when they could have. You know, because it shouldn't have escalated to that point, right? This is the problem. People over here writing down sensible stuff, and I've been looking at it for the most part of it. And I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy because this is a topic that is well needed to be talked about. We ain't caring about Umar Johnson and all that stuff. That ain't nothing. That's why I didn't do no lives on him on that stuff. We're talking about real world stuff that affect everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem. I'm going to keep it real as much as I possibly can and keep the focal point on the issues that are plaguing America, right? Black, white, and everybody else. We all are Americans, you know? And like I said, I'm proud of a lot of blacks that have woken up off and got away off of the Democratic slave plantation because they wanted you on there forever. This is why their voice is weak now. Apple, Roland Applehead Martin, and what's the other guy? Al, what's his name? Snaketon or Charlatan? Yeah, you got these people. That stuff don't work anymore. People are waking up. Even in the black community, they're waking up. Slowly doing it, but they're waking up. They're looking around and saying, damn, look at DC. Damn, we've been lied to. Damn, you know? Oh my gosh, this shit, it's looking totally different now. People can rest, you know, they can, like I said before earlier, they can go out, have a great time. They ain't got to worry about no drive-bys. They ain't got to worry about nobody dealing and stealing. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean no damn squilling. I got to run that in. You know, that's James Brown, you know? Shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But make no mistakes about it. Yeah, I get very passionate about this stuff because I get angry how we've been lied to, ladies and gentlemen, especially on the left. You know what you got with the neocon Republicans before Trump. There's a difference between MAGA and the neocon Republicans that y'all talk about. And those are the ones under the Bush administration. You know him, Jeb Bush, and all of them. You know what I'm talking about? You know them people, right? They never gave a damn about us either. I agree. They never gave a damn. That was the party wasn't built off that originally. But them, when they took over, that's why it didn't matter who we voted for. I never voted. First person I ever voted for, ladies and gentlemen, was Trump. I'm a registered Republican, MAGA Republican. I'm registered. I never in my life voted Democrat. I saw the bullshit back then. Because when people, and I'm not coming down on you that did. It's great that you took part of your political party and voted for the people to try to make a change. But none of you never thought that you were voting for treasonous criminals, right? That have taken over our country and pushing this propaganda and running and trying to run game, which they did. They stole a lot of money. These are the reasons why we owe the federal, what we owe the, was it $37 trillion? That's a lot of money. And because the majority of it was coming from our government, big ass government. Our government was so huge, they was wasting money on all kind of shit. Stealing money, racing money, fraud, right? Wasteful spending, shrinking the dollar, right? Put regulations on businesses. This is why your businesses was going overseas. That was a Democratic policy, ladies and gentlemen. That was under Clinton. Some of you guys ain't been around long enough to know this, but it's true. Ever since Clinton came in, what was it, 1994? He implemented the NAFTA agreement with Mexico and Canada. Those that was around Generation Xers know what I'm talking about, especially baby boomers. And that's when we start seeing the decline of our country. Wasn't he a Democrat? Slick Willie, wasn't he the one? That's when they dubbed the first black president. Saxophone, sunglasses wearing, smooth as silk, like Obama. They get these smooth, want to sell you snake oil salesmen. And that's what he did. But he fucked us over too. We've been fucked over, ladies and gentlemen. Now that the corruption is being called out, I'm okay with not having a slick, smooth, charismatic ass president. I'm okay with that. As long as he can get the job done, that's what I care about. We don't need no more slick, smooth talking ass. That's a politician, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they do. We got somebody that's already a billionaire many times over. Trump never took a salary for being a president, ever. He don't need the money, but all the rest of them took a salary. This is fact. Don't hate me because the truth is coming down. This is an actual fact and truth. This is why, once again, they are responsible for fucking up our communities, our cities, right? So what I want the pro-black community to know this. We're going to put a head on it, and it's the Democratic Party. They were the ones that fucked our communities up. They are the ones why we have a situation that we have where we got to have military coming in. See, what people thinking is that, oh yeah, military, this is going to be the norm. No, it's designed to get rid of the criminals and to put pressure or to remove, because a lot of these judges and a lot of these what is it? They're talking about the mayors and Congress people. They're not going to have a position come midterms. The Republican MAGA Republicans are taking over, and more people every day are seeing the truth. I'm not making this stuff up because some of the people in the room may have Trump derangement syndrome, and and that's okay. I don't have to hate somebody that hate Trump. What I'm saying is, this ain't about liking somebody. This is about, is he doing the job? And as far as I'm concerned, and many others say that Trump is doing a hell of a job, an excellent job. If you looked at my other live yesterday, if Lady Liberty can speak, she'll be kneeling down to Trump and said, "Thank you for all the hard work you are doing to make America great again." He said, "I'm not finished, my damn, or madam, I'm not finished yet." That's what Trump would tell her back. He said, "I still got work to do. I'm not finished yet." I want to, when he said, "I want to make America great again," we're talking about where the inner cities are going to mirror what it looked like in the suburbs. And I know many of the people don't believe it, but all I say is keep watching the news. He's going to make sure, because that's the promise that he ran on. We gave Trump a mandate and he's carrying it out. He's executing it. You know, he didn't renege on it. He's keeping promise to it. He said he was going to get the illegals out of our country. He said he was going to lock down that border, right? He said he was going to implement tariffs and bring in millions and millions and trillions of dollars back into this country to bring that deficit down that these out of control last foolish people, the uniparty up there in the White House, right? Because they think that they are our ruler. We the people, for the people, by the people. I know they don't teach this stuff in school no more, or maybe they do. But once again, we are the people of the United States of America, of a republic, right? We are the ones, right? We the ones that elect our officials and so forth, not the other way around. But this country has been taken over, and that's why Trump has taken it back since 1913. And I know a lot of other people don't know this type of facts, but it's study coming out more and more. That's why the Dems don't, these politicians don't want to see me. They don't want to see me. All they want to do is put and preach hypocrisy and lies and deceit to make you think that Trump and the MAGA people are the enemies, when the MAGA Republicans have been showing you who the enemy truly is. You know, you ask the people over there in DC now, they're happy, they're thankful, and soon they're going to be celebrating in Chicago. The black women there want Trump to come there. He ain't making no lies and making this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the trolls come in, and like I said, I don't mind them. I'm not upset with them. They just, you, like I said, it's like a little tiny insect, like a little gnat that's buzz around. And then once you swat them down, you got to swat many of them down because they try to come in here being disruptive. But I'm immune to it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't never have to be triggered because I may be passionate and my voice may raise, but it has nothing to do with what we call these trolls that come in here. It really don't. Because how can you be upset with them when they don't have no policy whatsoever? I have asked many of them. What they do is they go back to Trump and Epstein files as a "I got you money, got you" moment. They absolutely think they got something with the Epstein files. I mean, is this how ridiculous they are? I mean, you know, ain't nobody in MAGA truly worried about that. But they absolutely think they got something, ladies and gentlemen. I just let them. You study make the views go up, if anything. You make the viewership go up. It's the trolls that come in here that do that, mostly. You other people are like silent ninjas. I know you can't really be involved with it. You know, some of you got jobs and stuff where you politically can't align, show anyway, which I respect it. But it's a day that that's going to be over with for real. Because as we taking America back and putting it out there and keeping truth to falsehood, falsehood got to flee, ladies and gentlemen. Truth and falsehood. Falsehood don't like being around truth. And that's for real. They have to flee. And they have to find somebody else that may not know. Once you know who the devil is, you know what he's about, you ain't no sense to being afraid of him, right? You're afraid of what you don't know. When you know something, there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, if you got the Almighty to back you, you know what I'm saying? You know, and it's the scriptures all in that as well, too. And we are going back to a Christian nation, whether you like it or not. We're going to hold the American flag. That we're going to bring back the American anthem back in schools. We're going to bring back hook on phonics, where our younger generation, this would be, they would never know this thing the way it's going right now. We're going to totally eradicate and remove Obama out of there. He will be a figment. He won't even be considered a thing anymore once they finish with his ass. And that's fact. Know it, it's coming. The great Obama is gonna fall, and he know it. He can't fly, he can't hide, he can't go nowhere. Not without a passport. Can't do anything without a passport. Flight risk, you see what I'm saying? We're gonna take this back. These people have done a lot of harm and damage to our republic, to our nation. And it's glad that Trump is getting all these other countries in line to pay what they owe. And EU, no, we love you over here in America, but you got to pay what you owe. In Canada, once we, I think we broke Canada now. Canada, you got to pay what you owe, baby. And I love Canadians, but I'm talking about your government. You got to pay what you owe. It's just how it is. And anybody else that been getting over on America, you got to pay what you owe. And Trump made sure that he's the baddest and the greatest president we ever had. The person we're going to put on Mount Rushmore is going to be the face of Donald Trump. And I salute and I back this message. I approve this message. You hear me? That's going to be the face on Mount Rushmore as Donald J. Trump, the greatest president we ever had in our lifetime. As Reverend, what's his name, say, Jesse Lee Peterson said, the great white hope, great white hope. We ain't got a hope because he is. It is what it is, backed by the Almighty. That's why things are happening now. In lightning speed, right? Godspeed to Trump and Godspeed to America. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be in fear no more. We ain't got to be in worry or concern no more about the Democrats. They are losing tremendously. You know what I'm saying? I don't even see these liberal channels no more. Handsome liberal, where you at right now? How you like us now? All this stuff. And he's showing you, yeah, the military is coming in every city that's infested with crime, violence, and drugs. You go run and tell that. Tell that. Go run and tell it. Get the getting. Yep. Get the getting because the military is coming to Chicago. Tell the gangs to get the getting. Yep. Get up on out of here. That's what's going to end up happening. A lot of them are going to get locked up because I can't wait to see justice come to Chicago, where Chicago is going to be liberated. So that way you could better come back to Chicago again, where you could better shop and bring your family. Look what they did to that family out there in Cincinnati. Y'all remember that white couple out there? That was a damn shame. They were out there at the jazz concert, and those young ninjas, that was disgraceful what they did. Now, a lot of them they have captured, but what I'm saying is that, and I've been to Cincinnati many of times, and that should have never happened. That should have never, ever happened. But guess who? Watch it happen. They over there walking around looking stupid. The mayor said, what was it? I'm sorry, the chief of police, I think it was, well, too much drinks in you. This is the stuff that tends to happen. This is the type of nonsense this guy said. Are you kidding me? Which should have never happened. We want whoever come downtown, white, black, and other. And that's why I say I got to apologize to white people on the behalf of these damn ninjas, right? Because we got a ninja problem. Even as black folks, it's a way that we call the N-word ninjas. We don't even like the ninjas. Nobody likes the ninjas. Everywhere it goes, like a nightclub. As soon as it opened up, here come the ninjas. That's why nightclubs ain't even popular no more. Ninjas come up in there and shoot it up. Ninjas do the parking lot pimping thing. This is what these ninjas do, right? But the days are going to be limited with you ninjas because it's coming. Ninjas and YNs as well, for young ninjas. Because justice of the long arm of the law is coming for you too. It's coming for you. Just know this, your days are numbered because justice is going to come. Something that the Democrats failed to do. They refuse to do what's right. They sit up here with trickery, conversion, lying, stealing, right? They're out here dealing. Look at the stuff they're doing. They don't care about America, ladies and gentlemen. They care about their own interests. They are what we call the breakaway society. They have broken away from the regular people. We are that bottom half that you read about. The more, look at you, many of you got to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Even myself, I'm all out here all hours of the night, driving around and shit, trying to pick up fares and drop them off. You think this ain't the American dream in a way? Who stole the American dream? Democratic Party. With a lot of these rhino ass Republicans, which is nothing more than Democrats, liberals, bullshit ass people. That's what I'm saying. You know, I'll trust Trump way before I fucking trust a low down ass politician, especially a Democrat one and a Republican one that want to tell the truth. These people don't stand on principle. They just run their mouth. Talk about Trump or the Epstein files. That's all they got. They think they got something, like I said before. Trump's showing you what he's doing. All the stuff that he said, oh yeah, Project 2025. Project 2020. Oh, Project Ether. Oh, this what he gonna do? Oh, he gonna cut off Medicaid. Oh, he gonna cut off Medicaid. You gonna see. Oh, we gotta move up out the country. Cowards and yellow bellies. Got that yellow stripe around your back. Running. Run, you cowards. Run up on out of America. Do like Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres. Because when the Epstein files truly come out, they will be expedited. I'm sure of that. I can't wait for that. Get their asses back over here. Allegedly. Get their asses back over here. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Get their asses back over here. You know? So they can face judgment. Because they ain't the only ones. You don't leave up out of a country because you hate a man. You leave out of the country because a man got something on you. That's why they wanted to take him out, so secrets don't be. You got this guy Trump survived how many times? Survived an assassination attempt and all kind of stuff, man. This guy put his life on the line saving America. Went after his family and everything. Went into Mar-a-Lago, broke in. You know, now that John Bolton got a taste of his own damn medicine, I'm not sympathetic at all because it was very good reason why they went up in there. We're going to find out because he's on the list too. And there's many more that's on the list. You old sellout, treasonous, call yourself elite bastards. I can't wait for all of y'all to be incarcerated in jail where you belong. Therefore, you ain't have to worry about all this lawfare stuff no more. You know, your Letitia James, right? Your Fannie Willis and all the rest of them that are gonna be locked on up. You know, Alvin Davis, all of them gonna be locked up. All of them as they deserve to be. You ain't got no leadership in no Democratic Party no more. All they still try to do is run defense, and they can't even keep up with the man. Look how many executive orders that Trump had to write this time. He's been working diligently around the clock, lightning speed. Took away a lot, 37 intelligent securities from these other assholes that have been running it. They've been blind ever since. Had to restrip the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA. We got so much corruption going on and things in these places. This is why we can't get no get back. Want to allow drugs to be brought into the country, fentanyl. Millions and I should say thousands and thousands of people on fentanyl that's dying. Got Mexico together, right? This is a man that stood up, the greatest president we have ever had. And I back and approve his message 100%. You think I care about what a Democrat got to say? They can't shame me. You know, all they got, they're like, nah. All they got is run their mouth. They don't have nothing. There is nothing they can do with Trump. Trump controls the DNC. They control the Democrats. He trolls them and controls them. And that's why they're mad about it now. They can't do a mother you know what thing without Trump's permission. Trump been over here single-handedly handcuffed in their ass on the Constitution. On the Constitution, because we know how stupid and ignorant the Democrats are. They don't even know the Constitution. Trump just kicked their ass on the Constitution all that damn day long. You know, thought they were going to do something with the 9th District judges. These old Obama-appointed, old-ass, Clinton-appointed-ass judges that they thought they was going to stop some type of show. You know, they really thought they had it in the bag, right? They were so sad. Even judges got arrested, harvesting a criminal. These are the people that you want representing you. You want these old lying ass, low down ass Democrats, demo KKK rats. These are the ones that you want. These are the ones you think that's going to be the deliverers of America. They never have been in the history of America. We already went down through their history. It's just the ones that believe that are totally misinformed, as always, you know, as always. We've been doing our thing, though, and nobody can never make me feel bad about voting for Trump. I don't. You get your ass back to work. Ain't gonna be no welfare queens no more. You're gonna get your ass out there and work. If you don't like it, take your ass out of the country and move somewhere else. But we know you just talking. You ain't going nowhere. You're gonna stay here and just talk shit because you gotta work. Oh, more with me. Get your ass out there and work. Nobody told you to have all those babies in the first place. Yeah, I'm talking to you, welfare queens, and all the rest of you. You're gonna get your ass up there and work like everybody else. I had to go out here and work for mine. You ain't getting no entitlement. Because if you was in a third world country, it'd be much worse. These welfare queens act like they so tough. You land them in Africa or in Asia or anywhere in the world where people gotta rely on family or they have to get out of work, they would die. They would die. They really would. There ain't no safety nets like America, and the safety net is being shortened. 2 years, you're going to get your ass out there. You ain't going to keep continuing doing the same thing. This Doge is in control, looking at everything, and it's being cleaned up with this corruption. I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy seeing the welfare queens got to get out here and work like everybody else. They're working like everybody else, baby. Got to work. I'm not sympathetic, and I'm not sorry at all. There's no regret about who I voted for. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I sure in hell didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for Clinton either. We can go back, or the Bushes. Because the only one I ever voted for was Donald J. Trump, right? 45th and the 47th president that's getting shit done for all Americans. I ain't trying to convince these trolls because a lot of them are just bots and shit. You know, this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They are the ones, right? If they don't like it in America, they could take their black asses over there to Africa. And that's what anybody else, whatever origin you from, take your ass back over there if you don't like America. But we ain't gonna let you disrespect America. It's the greatest country that on the face of the earth. That's why all the foreigners come here. They know what time it is. They ain't even that damn dumb. You gonna learn English when you come over here, and you're gonna learn to assimilate in our country. It ain't gonna be the other way around. All these IVRs talking about for English, press 1, for Spanish, press 2. Fuck that. You're gonna learn English like everybody else, or get the fuck out. That's what's gonna happen. So I appreciate all you guys showing up tonight on my live, because we are MAGA. We are here to stay for a very long time. We're gonna oust, arrest, lock up, and someone we may have to just take out. They'll probably be deleted because there's no place or space for a treasonous person. Once a treason sell America out, we don't. They shouldn't even be alive, in my opinion. We got to take them out, just like it is. If it goes before a regular court or tribunal, but we will get Obama. We're going to get all of them. James Comey, John Clapper, Rice, Hillary Clinton, all the rest of them. We coming for you, boy. John Bolton, we coming for every last one of y'all. Your finest, your brightest, and your so-called best. And I can't wait to see when Trump did that one AI generated or the Secret Service arresting Obama, impeaching Obama. And I want to see him in that orange jumpsuit. And I can't wait because that's a fashionable color on his ass for all the shit that he did. You know, don't leave out Benghazi, right? Don't leave out the laptop. Don't leave out the emails. Don't leave out Epstein Island. Don't leave out COVID-19, pandemic, right? Don't leave all this stuff out, Snowden and all that other one. Julian Assange, they was on point. They was on point. They was on point. Look at this stuff. That's what I'm saying, though. These people was on point. The earlier whistleblowers, right? This is a low-down, wicked government that's going to stand trial for what they have done against the American people. They waged war against us, ladies and gentlemen. They were trying to take our freedom of speech away and rights away. You know, the Democrats think that that's normal. It's not. It's called the Constitution. You know, I may not agree with you, but you have a right to go out there and protest. You could protest to the cows come home, far as I'm concerned, as long as you do it in a peaceful manner. You know what I'm saying? Shit. But I want to see. But that's why I say, man, Washington D.C. is looking better already. It's just getting started because he could have the troops there more than 30 days. I want them there more than 30 days. I want them there more than 30 days. I don't want to see a peep out of a gang member, Dylan. I don't want to see any of this shit because they know all they got to do is come back. You know, and they're going to clean out that corruption in D.C. first. There's a lot of corruption. Police departments, law enforcement, and all the rest of it. There's a lot of corruption there. A lot of corruption. They're coming. And I appreciate all the likes, ladies and gentlemen, today or tonight. Because like I said, though, you know, this is just natural for me, man. I'm just, what it is just the energy that I could feel how America is turning around. And they want to they want to paint me in a category. Oh, I'm a black man. I'm supposed to be a Democrat. I'm supposed to be one of these mindless, not supposed to know all this stuff that I'm talking about, right? Tell you how great Obama was, right? This is the narrative. They want to put us and pigeonhole us in a particular category. The Democrats said, well, don't worry about thinking. White liberals, you are just as guilty of doing this. I picked many of them up in the car. Then I had to get their ass together. I ain't one of these type of ninjas that you think that don't know anything, that you could just run the bullshit on me and I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to go for it. 10 toes down, I give them that work. And when I give them that work, it's going to be stuff that they don't even know about their own damn party. They were the ones that had my people in slaves and chains and shit. You know, we're gonna put it for what it is. It's the Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen. The same one that get over on slave labor today. This is their practice. That's another reason why they want the illegals over here. Because who's gonna pick our strawberries? Who's working in the Chinese buffets and all this shit? Who's over here at Costco's and all these other places, right? That's why, you know, as a tipster, contact ICE because we know where a lot of them are. You even got them out here in places or whatever, food delivery. They're out here, ladies and gentlemen, illegal and all. Because one of the telltale signs, they don't know English very well or not at all. They're part of the problem with MS-13 and all these other gangs or stuff, you know. You have domestic gangs and gangs that have been brought over here from Mexico, Venezuela, and all these other places, right? Got a beautiful prison over there in El Salvador. We got the other prison that they got going on over there, which is called Alligator Alcatraz. It's a beautiful site that I love seeing. And that's where a lot of these other criminals, domestic criminals, illegals need to go. Alligator Alcatraz, where survival is very minimum to none. And that's why the crocodiles and the alligators are going to have a wonderful time over there. But one thing they love eating on is fresh human meat. A limb or arm will do for those that try to run, you know, because they would think about ever thinking about coming over here, sneaking over here. Those days are over. There's no way you sneak it over here in America now. We got the military securing the borders, the southern border. We even sent military over there attacking cartel and all this other stuff. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. Trump is really doing this thing. I done named off so many policies that Trump is doing. Name me something that the Democrats have done other than trying to stop Trump, right? Petitioning for illegals to stay in the country. I ain't gonna say that they ain't been doing nothing. They've been doing the opposite. They are rah-rah for criminal activity. This is why cities can't get together. They need the criminals to keep everything because they make money. Who you think is running the cartel? It's the same group of people. Put it together. They ain't no different people. They're behind this shit. Of course, they don't want to see, they don't want justice to happen. And everybody is witnessing. This is one of the main reasons that more blacks and whites that were Democrat, bleeding heart Democrats have moved over to the red Republican side. That's a fact because they did not like what they seen in their party, right? They were even questioning their party. If you question their party, they kick you out. This is how bad it is to be a Democrat right now. They want you to keep up with the same narrative. They do not think for themselves. Here's a joke. How many Democrats does it take to install a light bulb? It takes all of them to do it because neither of them can think on their own to do it. They got to take the whole group just to put the light bulb in. This is the mentality that we're talking about here. They have not done anything positive when it comes down to helping the American people. They have done more for criminals that's coming over here illegally, as well as the domestic criminals as well. When they arrest them, they let them right back out. What kind of foolishness is that? Talking about, yeah, we're overcrowded, let them back out. So they could go out here and murder and do more criminal activity. This is why we are overran by sociopaths. This is a sociopath mindset, ladies and gentlemen. You know your damn self. You know damn well that don't make any sense. But this is what they've been doing. And this is what they continue to do. You guys have named every city where there's crime, violence, drugs, crime, violence, drugs, prostitution, crime, violence, drugs, corrupt cops, corrupt city councilmen, corrupt mayors. It goes and corrupt governor, right? This is what we're dealing with in these states. We're dealing with this criminal or organizations, right? That's being shit. Trump exposed everything. Everybody's seeing the light now. These people can't hide. The list is so long. Even if I'll try to name all these people, they invest in corruption. Corruption is their investment. Not seeing America heal and be great. It's about corruption and allowing the illegals to run rampant in America, to turn America into a third world country under George Soros, right? That's who they daddy Wobucks of the Democratic Party. That's who a lot of them gotta adhere to and listen to. They gotta listen to Daddy Wobucks tell them what to do. If he say jump, you better say how high. If you want to keep that politician job, cinchy job, everybody know being a politician ain't shit. It don't require no intelligence. It just require a few things. If you look good, right, and you charismatic, and you could smile and bullshit people, you could be a politician. Don't require nothing to be that. You only work half of the time out of a year. Other than that, everything is pretty cinchy. And if you're corrupt and bought off by special interest groups or what we call lobbyists, you got it made in the shade until you get caught. And that's what's happening with a lot of these people. A lot of these people are bought. That's why they don't do nothing for the American people. They've been bought by corporations. They don't even know what fascism is. It's just a word that they have heard and they just throw it out. Throw it out. When corporations are in bed with the government, that's fascism. That's what we've been under. We're trying to pull away from that, right? This is the thing. I love what RFJ Jr. is trying to do. And so far, removing these petroleum-based dyes and all these dangerous things out of our food supply. If you look at the inner city in Black America, you will see a dialysis clinic on every street corner. along with a Foot Locker and other type of shit that we don't need. And you better believe it's going to be some crime, violence, and drugs there as well, right? Cleaning America up, getting the graffiti off the walls, people out here begging for money, out here finding their way in the inner city. That shouldn't happen, and it's on these politicians' watches. Look at them. Look how stupid they looking now. Look how stupid Brandon Johnston looking half zesty. Look how stupid he looked. Look how stupid the other person, Laura Lightfoot, when she was the mayor, she couldn't get shit done. She's part of the corruption too, looking like Beetlejuice. You shouldn't be coming out there looking like Beetlejuice, wearing these pantsuits. That's horrible. You should not be looking at that pantsuit. Ain't becoming of you. I swear she looked like Beetlejuice, man. I seen the movie. When I say Laura Lightfoot 3 times, she may pop out of shit. Talking about I'm the ghost with the most. Shit. Damn. That's what I'm saying, though, man. These people are not operating off of a full deck, man. They really aren't. The only thing that they can do is come into these lives and try to be disruptive. And when you don't show them no attention, they just usually go away. I don't mind them sticking around, but I know they don't have nothing to say when it comes down to real. This is real talk, ladies and gentlemen. Not that bullshit. This is real talk that we're dealing with here. And since they are too cowardice to challenge their own party, because a lot of them won't. They won't challenge their own party. They just ride with it. But secretly, you know what they be saying secretly? They don't ride with the transgender stuff, but they're too afraid to say it. That's where a lot of the Dems right there, bleeding heart Dems, most of them don't ride with the transgender part because a lot of them got daughters that play in these sports. And they ain't comfortable with no man being in the locker room. That's how we won a lot of Dems just off of that policy right there. They've been trying to push that, you know what I'm saying? And they were trying to push other things. Child mutilization. You mean to tell me that every Dem that you know is support this foolishness? They don't. That's how y'all lose it. Your elites are out of touch with real people. Just because they're too afraid to challenge your party don't mean that they're rocking with it. They don't. They're not rocking with this shit. Yeah, Tiffany Hayyer, JT. Yeah, fleeced her small town, right? I think that was in Dalton, Illinois, I do believe. Yeah, I'm only reading some of the comments for a change. I had to get off of my I appreciate there. I see the comment there from Bright and Tight. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Good or bad, appreciate it anyway. Yeah, Tiffany Hayyer. She was a big disappointment. Oh, Miss Super Mayor, right? This is the type of people, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad DEI. I'm gonna tell y'all something. We don't have to worry about the DEI anymore. We licked that too, because it was obvious. DEI people that were politicians running the mayor thing, congressmen, no policies that they really push. I don't know what they're other than just spitting up a whole bunch of money and trying to be a diva. I don't know what they have done. Have they ever pushed any policies that was going to benefit the people instead of got busted stealing money from the people? This is the thing about it. It's mind blowing to me, it's just mind blowing. And they ask the same stupid questions about, because again, Trump never took not 1 cent since he's been a president. Because we should know, what does a president make a year? Was about $400,000, I believe. Trump never took the money. Trump never took the money. But all your other presidents of old have taken the money. He let you know, I don't need that money. I'm a multimillionaire. Trump don't have to become a million. I mean, have to be a White House to be a billionaire. He was already born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Everybody know. Everybody know this. Out of Queens, New York. I was born in Brooklyn. Everybody know how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that's the whole thing about it though. What have he done for me personally? I'll tell you this. I invested in cryptocurrency, right? And dividends. And it's been looking wonderfully well since we have elected President Donald J. Trump as president. I've been doing my thing. This is the stuff that you should be doing because if the government under Trump is invested in crypto alone, especially Bitcoin, that tells you something right there. If they are doing it, you should be doing it. Straight up, you should be doing it. JT said, work for Chicago government. Brandon Johnson could get 5 million pension for being a teacher 4 years in a mirror. What the fuck? Yeah, this is what they do. They reward stupidity and criminals. This is what they do. Yeah, this is exactly what they do. He don't have any type of policies that have helped Chicagoans. Those black Chicagoans, I've talked to Daddy C. She said how her and Jessica said how those are the ones that's with their group called Flipping Chicago Red group. But at any event, how under Johnson's watch, how they've been stealing property, family property that been in their family over there in Chicago and giving it to the illegals. Tell me how this is going on. How is this happening? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sweetie pie. I see your colorful monkeys and chimpanzees. Look like you left out the silverback gorilla. I think that's also you left out the silverback gorilla, sweetie pie. Don't forget to include the silverback gorilla because there's a gorilla on there too. You know? Emojis and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, monkey. Like I said, I've heard it all before, boy. Watermelons, I know, right? She left that out too. And the fried chicken. Like what that's supposed to mean. Go on and say what you're gonna say. You ain't gotta put the icons up there. You free to say what you're gonna say. I haven't kicked nobody out of here yet. Miss here, Powerball says, I'm glad someone has sense. God bless you. Trump 2028. 28. Yep. I'm all for it, man. I have nothing against it. JT says, LOL, laughing out loud. Yeah, man, as we unwind. Yeah, Sweetie Pie says the gorilla is laughing. I may not see the gorilla though, but she referring to me laughing though. Because what, you could only see my teeth? I'm like a Cheshire cat, I don't like that Alice in Wonderland. I'm like a Cheshire cat. You see I'm like a Cheshire cat, right? Like I said, I can roll with the jokes. It don't offend me. Michael said, Michelle, Michelle says, were you offended when Biden went and ate chicken in that family? I wasn't offended personally, because not only black folks like chicken, fried chicken, white folks love fried chicken too. We all love fried chicken. Almost every race that I know love fried chicken. JT says, Queens in the house. So glad I found your stream. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. For you guys that finding me, man. I've been around for a little while. I ain't big as the other people. And I've been coming back doing it. You know what I'm saying? Robert says, God bless you, brother. Keep up the honesty. Thank you so much. Michelle says, I'm white. And yes, we love chicken. Absolutely. Everybody loves chicken. I ain't gonna be offended by that. Everybody love watermelon. I had some watermelon yesterday. I eat the shit out of some watermelon. I remember back in the days we used to put a little salt on the watermelon. Y'all remember that? Out there sitting on the porch with my shorts on in the summertime. Visiting, you got to go down south and visit your family members down south for the summer. Sitting over there eating on the porch on the watermelon. And they have fried chicken and all kind of stuff. So yeah, that don't offend me. Robert says, I love chicken, watermelon, and Kool-Aid. Yeah, we should drink the hell out of Kool-Aid. Why the hateful talk about the food? That's what I'm saying. Michelle says, watermelon is good for you. It is, because it's a natural cleanser. Tell them, Michelle, it is. It's a natural cleanser. Robert says, the same here, fam. Good food is good food. JT says, step up your watermelon with a little feta cheese. I never had it like that, though. It's interesting. Robert says, I'm 43 times what, 40, okay. We said, I'm 43 times what's hard. Okay, 43 times was hard. I'm 43 times was hard. Yeah, 43 times was hard. Yeah, yeah. What's hard? That's what I'm saying, though. We over here, we should be living in hard times, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to be over here living in the best times. But as Trump said, we're going to be going to the golden age. Once the central bank has been eradicated, removed out, because the only people that should be minting our money is the true government, not some old foreign, some what's that? International banksters. They shouldn't be doing this type of stuff, right? We've been hijacked, hoodwinked, and bamboozled, and they've been controlling our money reserve ever since. That's why we are in a deficit right now. And when this goes away, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna see like wealth in this country that we never had before in our life. Golden age for the American people, Rhea. We're talking about the American people, right? Right? Want to make America great again. We're talking about us, all of us, right? Right? We're talking about the American people. America first. You ain't never heard Democrats ever speak like this. We said America first. Make no mistakes about it. We're talking about good old American people where jobs are going to be plentiful, right? Whether you want to run a business, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you will be able to do it here without going through all this red tape, taxes, and bullshit. Because I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the IRS is going to be going bye bye, just like the Federal Reserve is going to go bye bye, because there's nothing federal about them. They are a private bank. And this is another problem where our problem is. This is why you think these politicians want to see that go away, because they want to keep it here so they can keep robbing the American people, stealing our tax money, and pushing regimes and all this shit instead of enriching themselves. If we haven't learned by Doge, that's what they've been doing, plain and simple. So this is why I rock with Trump. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. Jacob says, let me see here. Do an internet search for the national said economic securities. I will. And reformation, okay, act, the Reformation Act of 1998. I will do that, Jacob. I will. Yes, sir. It is already discovered and merge into under the Treasury. Yep, exactly. And what Trump is going to do with the ERS instead of the IRS, because we know internal revenue means you're getting the money internally, which means from the country, from the American people. Nobody in this room is going to be waving their hand up. Oh, I just enjoy paying taxes. You think you own your home, you never own the land. You always got to pay the government every time taxes on that land, right? But look at what's going on now. You got to pay your city accessory, the treasury. You never own the land, and that's criminal. We're supposed to be getting all of our money, not some of our money. The 44 rule, the 40-40 rule. Some of you guys know what the 40-40 rule is, right? I worked 40 years of my life. They take 40% of the taxes, right? This is what goes on to your rest of your life until you retire. That ain't no fun, right? We're supposed to be getting all our money, not some of our money where they don't do shit with it, right? Yeah, there's always going to be rich and poor. But like I said, there's going to be so many programs to help people that are poor, because the job is, with the Democrats when they were in power, instead of helping the poor, they just gave them little trinkets and trash. They never educate the constituents, right? They always teach them victimhood, shaming, blaming. being mad at people that have the money, rich people and all that. It's not necessarily a rich people problem. It's a problem with the government and its inefficient. They're not efficient of what they're doing. Right? They are criminals, criminals in power, and this is why we have a lot of the corruption going on. This is why more Americans got to work harder than ever before. While as our money studies shrink, the value of the dollar studies shrink, inflation goes up. We wasn't even producing anything anymore. Everything was being outsourced, being shipped back in. It's the craziest thing because they were enriching themselves. Remember, they were the ones out there enriching themselves. We wasn't enriching ourselves. This is the problem. This is what you have to say here while I cool down. Let me see here. Okay, JT says there's always going to be rich and poor. Corey Thomas says, speak the truth, brother. Thank you, Corey. JT says, which one you want to be? Being middle class is the hardest class because stress don't get handouts. I agree with you on that. Rhea says, when have you known Republicans to help the poor? Blah blah. Well, Rhea, I don't think you remember coming in. You didn't hear me earlier, right? What I was mentioning, because it's quite understandable, and I always said this before. When the Republicans were in power, and this is why you hear it. I don't know if you probably have heard the term Rhino Republican, right? A rhino means Republican in name only. These are group things were going on. Things were going on, right? No matter if it was Bush or Obama, right? We were in these forever wars, right? And with these forever wars, look what was happening, right? We as a company, I mean, as a company, well, you kind of look at it that way too. As a country, right? They were still in our tax monies then, right? Who you think got all these wars and stuff going on, setting up all these coups and all this other stuff, regime changes, so they could put their puppets in there, right? Because really it was always after the oil anyway. Halliburton, that was Dick Cheney straight up. He the one that got off on that thing though. He had held the military contract, right? He was the one that enriched themselves over there. So this is going back to your point. I always said outside of Trump, they were politicians. They both look at under George Bush Jr., right? That created what was created. You should know Homeland Security. Thick page thing that got passed over like that. That's why we got TSA and all this other nonsense going on, which is totally unconstitutional. But they said you have to be willing to give up some of your freedoms in order to be secure. Where did I hear that before? And this was a mistake from the American people because the American people fell asleep on the past. And when you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it. This is why we're here today. So this is not a I got you moment about the Republicans. I said that earlier. I've never been a fan of them. I've never been a fan of a Rhino. They ain't the only ones. You know what I'm saying? Dick Cheney, Liv Cheney. These are all rhinos. What's that other girl over there out of Florida, Nikki Haley? I ain't been a fan of these people. These are rhinos you're talking about here. Rhinos are just liberals, just disguised as a Republican. Because you've been fooled to think here it is. This is what the Democrats have taught. They taught liberals, middle class, that rich people, this is what it touched the poor. Rich people, Republicans, are the problem, right? Rich people, which are Democrats, telling poor people that rich Republicans are the problem of their own situations. This is the whole mantra coming from the Democratic Party. Doesn't that sound familiar? This is one of the main reasons. It's a stigma that every Republican is a racist. They hate the poor. They don't do nothing at all, and which is simply not true. And I did a short on this, and I'm gonna let it go. I did a short on this that took off, right? I said that the mindset between a liberal and a conservative. A liberal would just give you a fish and teach you how to be a victim and teach you how to whine, complain. But as a conservative, they teach you how to fish. One give you a fish, the other one teach you how to fish. And this is why the Democrats never taught their constituents how to fish, thus the black community. They need them in that permanent underclass of victimhood to teach them about blaming other people. Sound familiar? I come out of that same community. Hate the white man. Everybody else is they teach these conspiracies, right? They teach this stuff, right? Where you have to have affirmative action, DEI. We're too damn dumb and stupid to make it off our own or race. And that's a racist move there when you really think about it. So yeah, this is an answer to you in regards to what you were mentioning, right? Corey Thomas says, I worked around the rich and I can't get our money back. Michael, oh yeah, Michelle says, we estimated that my husband will have to work till 70. Exactly, right? So I can have health insurance. Exactly. Can't make it on SS. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. GR says, do you have a wild wife? Let me see here. Corey Thomas says, I'm a Republican and poor. Yeah, a lot of us are though, Corey. I'm out here working at night too. I can't even afford a wife and a family. This is how bad it is, you know? I should make a t-shirt saying I can't even afford a wife and children. And it's the truth. Corey Thomas says, but I'm talking back. Jacob says, Richards, yeah. This is not the Republican Party of 20 years ago. This is the MAGA party by far from me, people. Yeah, exactly. As Jacob said, there's a difference between your Rhino Republicans, your Jeb Bush out of Florida, you have your Newt Gingrich and all the rest of them. There's a whole different mindset with the MAGA Republicans. Y'all get us mixed up with those old rhinos. Those are those old conservative neocons, right? With some of your racists and some of your other, that's where that's coming out of. I never rocked with that 20 years ago because I saw the bullshit there. It was the left wing, right wing, but it was the same damn bird before Trump. Trump came in there and shook up stuff. This is the difference. He put America first through his policies. You can go on his campaign website today, which is actually the presidential's website, and you can pull up these actual policies and read them for yourself. Then talk back to me if you're in doubt. Corey Thomas says, I live in Montana around the rich. I'm taking back. Yeah, I hear what you're saying though, man. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like I said, I know only a few people that got a little wealth, like millionaires. I don't really know any billionaires or whatever. But like I said though, and no, they were even suffering under the Biden administration. But one thing about it is Trump was different. Even though he's a billionaire, we know that Trump didn't have to run for office. He was already set. This guy owned like golf courses and real estate all over the world. He was set many times over. He didn't have to take the job. He didn't have to do this, rob from the people. He could have like the other people, but he didn't. This guy ain't even took a salary. You know, if you ever would have had a conversation with Mike Tyson, this was the same dude that helped Mike Tyson out when he got accused over there and went to prison in Indiana for 6 years over a rape shit. Half of his life was gone. Mike could have been really the greatest boxer ever if that wasn't the case. That shit right there should have never happened. Not one Democrat came to his rescue. You didn't hear Al Sharpton. You ain't see a peep out of his ass. He always seemed to pop his head out when there's a white on black issue. He always seemed to pop his head out. Very interesting. Very interesting. Robert says that's what's happening with 9/11. Took our freedom for a little bit, but security, Franklin, yep, said never give up. He said that. I knew you were going to bring it up. Never give up your freedom for a little bit of security. This is exactly what he said. And this is what ended up happening. Jacob said, Amen, brother. The entire or yeah, entire uniparty, yeah, the entire uniparty models is done, replaced by the actual patriot slowly. Yep, and really fast. Yeah, it's really it really have. The MAGA is the new Democratic Party for the poor, for the middle class. These rich have enriched themselves stealing money from the American people, low down ass Democrats. They are no longer the ones that people look for. They are nothing more than just criminals. I mean, that's one other way I can really say it about this particular group. Because unless if you are part of that Democratic circle, up in that upper tier like that, because it makes sense for them to be screaming like hell at Trump, because he's been putting the screws to him ever since he won, and he was kicking their ass on the election campaign. They had a dodo that was running for president, and she was a DEI job, DEI vice president. There's no policy. She couldn't even get past back in 2019 when she was running for president. Tulsi Gabbard kicked her ass. She was the one that was locking black men up, frivolous with marijuana charges. 1,500 of them taking the night rides out with the DEI, the DEA and shit. You know what I'm saying? And she enjoyed that too when she was riding out there with them. Yeah. Let's see here. What else we have? Yeah. Robert says you're right about the rhinos being disgusting as a disguise. Yeah, in disguise as liberals. It's true. That's exactly what they are. And this is where the liberals get it. They don't seem to understand that the MAGA is well over the rhinos' head. There's a lot of rhinos that hate Donald Trump. They always have, because he couldn't be controlled and he couldn't be bought. See, all their presidents have been bought. Mike Pence, you brought up Pence. I'm gonna get there in a minute, Gr. Robert says, yeah, I already read that. Yeah, you're connecting, going in and out, brother. Okay, let me see. Tell me if I'm sounding better. Tell me, do I sound better now? If my connection going in and out? Let me see if that works a little bit better. GR says Pence is okay, has some integrity, but he didn't lie for Trump. Yeah, but Pence is a rhino though. That's my whole point. I'm glad you brought that up. He's another one. Mike Pence is a rhino. We can name the rest of them. Like I said, Nikki Haley is a rhino. Not a wino, a rhino, meaning a Republican in name only. Robert says, what every Republican isn't racist, you better look into the Democrats. Yeah, the Democrats, I love that, are racist. They always have been and kept people in slaves mindset. They really are. They have. Just we could say the black community. The Democrats have never done a great job of educating their own constituents, especially when it comes down to black people. They teach them victimhood. They teach them that rich white people are the real enemy, which they aren't, right? They teach them a lot of things, a lot of stuff that's not true. I had to have a debate, kind of went sideways though, because he pissed me off. But he's a baby boomer. Baby boomer blacks, a lot of them have been taught to vote Democrat. Vote for anybody with a D next to their name. Don't worry about the politics. We just want to see somebody in there. Just like they did over here in Detroit with what's her name? A lot of them are voting for Mary Sheffield or whatever. I don't even know her policies, but because she's going to be pretty much sound like she may be the mayor. because she's good looking, sound good, and pleasant. And for most blacks, that's all it takes. That somebody that look at Obama. That was they just wanted to see if and they didn't get that right. Obama is not the first black president. If you were to check your history, right? We had black presidents before, but the people that were black, you never thought they were black. You thought they were white. And that's going to be a topic of another discussion. Corey Thomas says, I fish and liberals can't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You fish, I fish, because we learn how to fish. Liberals can't fish. They got to wait for a fish to be given to them. And when they get the fish, they beg for another one and another one and another one. This is the mindset of the liberal Democrat. This is what they taught a lot of blacks and other black and brown. Teach them not to go out here and get their own fish, but to stay on the system. To stay on the system, right? Because it was a Lyndon B. Johnson, the Great Society, when welfare was implemented back in 1965. It was put out there, right, to what? This is what really destroyed the black community. Slavery didn't. What destroyed the black community is welfare because they were able to separate the black man and woman. They convinced the black woman that the government is going to be your zaddy. And if the government is going to be your zaddy, then they'll be giving black women an incentive. Every time they have children, they were the ones that created the welfare queens. And the reason I'm harping on them, because they're gonna say, well, white people are getting welfare too. That's true. But we gotta keep in mind back in FDR, which I do believe, whites were getting welfare, but they weren't separated. White men and white women were not separated. FDR was a racist too. Blacks couldn't get welfare back in those days. Welfare came around back for blacks getting on it, black women getting on it back in 1965. You can go and pull it up. The Great Society. It originally came up as a Trojan horse because what they thought that was helping blacks out, which it wasn't, but they said that they were trying to bring in the the marginalization gap of the wealth. They were trying to bring it in to make it closer. It didn't work. It didn't work. What work is that well, this is one of the reasons why a lot of our black sisters are so far gone, why they over have the children and no baby father. This was manufactured by the Democratic Party. You got to keep in mind, Lyndon B. Johnson was a known racist. He hated black people. He said that we can convince the black people to vote Democrat for the next 300 years. In his quote, the niggers is what he said. Excuse my French, but that's what he basically said. And this is why you have an influx of blacks voting Democrat. Remember, Martin Luther King was a Republican, not a Democrat. Corey Thomas says, I will work till the 70, nothing in savings. You ain't the only one, brother. There's a lot of us in the same boat. Robert says, can you see my comments? Let's see. I think I thought I read some. You said I was going in and out. One of y'all said it. Jacob says, I am poor Republican, barely surviving. Exactly, right? Corey Thomas says a house in Montana is over $800,000. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. Jacob says, I'm the same way. I was in independent Tea Party, organic, constitutionalist. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too, Jacob. We are going back to the Constitution. You heard Trump say it many, many of times over, how we are going back to the Constitution, which we should have been there all this time. We are going back to the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on for one moment. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so, but yeah, he said that we're going back to the Constitution because we should have been always under the Constitution instead of this playing these games and stuff that they were doing. Because again, the Democrats, and when I say that, I'm talking about the Uniparty Republicans and Democrats when I say Democrats, because remember, it's the same party, the same group. outside of Trump and MAGA. That's a fact. JR says it's your fault that you don't do what it takes to get better employment. Yep. Now you are the working poor. And it's true. This is basically what it is. But I will say this: they have, because they ran, because you got to keep in mind, the liberal Democrats have ran a lot of good American companies out of America due to their stringent, what we call their policies, right? They put a lot of stringent regulations on these particular American companies that forced them to go and work outside of the country, right? So this is another thing which caused the inflation to go up, because if we're not producing, and we should have been producing, Ross Perot, he was the guy that challenged Clinton back in 1993, I do believe, because Ross Perot ran as an independent. He was a rich Texan billionaire, and some of you guys may remember he was an oil man out of Texas originally. Ross Perot even said, "Listen, if you outsource these jobs, you're going to be sapping Americans' wealth, which it has been, because they've been creating this out of what we call the breakaway society for themselves out of America, right? And this is where we saw a mass devaluation of the dollar, right? Which caused a lot of inflammation. I mean, inflation, right? This is the stuff that's been going on with a lot of regulations. Trump got rid of a lot of deregulations. He made it sweet. He said, if I could get the American companies to come back, the only way they'll come back is under these particular terms. They got to see that money and investing with other companies back in America before a lot of these other companies are coming back. And let's be real. The only reason that Apple and all these other companies are coming back to America, because they would have to pay the tariff. That was the reason for the tariffs in the first place. Keep in mind, this is not something that Trump came up with. This is something that goes back since the Andrew Jackson days. He understood what it was when it came down to tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Because our history of our country always relied on outs. We're talking about external. We're talking about outside of America. If you want to play in the American market, you got to pay the taxes. The deep state operatives hated that. These liberals that do they bidding, they hate tariffs in this country. Tariffs is what competes against the fiat currency. 71, 1971, right? This is when Nixon took us off of what? The gold standard, right? We was on the gold standard. They took us off. When they removed us off, 10 years, 19, was all that it was a time in and this is a little bit before I was born, but I was around somewhere around that time, but I was a baby. So what ended up happening is there's a lot of inflation and a lot of jobs and stuff. Even when you watch Good Times, that's all they were talking about. In the black community, it was hard to get a job, right? Because nobody wasn't hiring. Things were happening. Jobs were starting to be shipped overseas. Even then, they were exiting out because they put a lot of regulations on these American companies. These American companies just didn't take off on their own. They were forced out, kicked out. And since they were kicked out and forced out, here come with due to the regulations, this is the devaluation of the U.S. dollar started falling. Right? There's places in time where this stuff went down. You know what I'm saying? I'm no economist, but I know enough about what have happened back there. And this is exactly what they would never tell you this truth. This truth. They would never tell you that. We are suffering under bad policies that was pushed by the deep state. They did this purposely to keep us in an economical free fall all the way down to the bottom. It's a race down to the bottom. Luckily, Trump stopped it, stopped the hemorrhaging. Because if what's the name, Kamala Harris would have got in there, or Hillary Clinton, all of us, if we'd been lucky to be able to get out of the United States, shit, it'd probably been World War III already. You know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Robert says that's why we can't stand them because he wasn't a politician and ruined the gimmicks of all the career politicians that were dragging their feet and wasn't going to do anything for us. I'm gonna get caught up here with some of these things here. Corey Thomas says Trump is the GOAT. Absolutely. Robert says Trump is the real and the best, period. Look at the way he did. Okay, look at the way they did Trump for years. Exactly. They was on Trump for 8 years with this nonsense. Jacob says, I'm not blaming anyone but myself. I have a bad disability, yet still get out and work. Exactly. Rhea says, the Central Park Five, you know. Yeah, Rhea, I'm just saying though, we're not saying that Trump didn't make no mistakes on that, but he already said that about we already the Central Park. You have to go digging. Why are we over here talking about Central Park Five and all this other stuff? That's a thing in the past. That's not affecting black folks today or nobody today, right? We in a whole different in a better going in a better situation. As soon as we can get the feds to cut the rates, because this is the only thing that's left. And well, hopefully they'll cut the rates by next month. We ain't thinking about no Central Park Five. Paul says, make Kamala. Let me see here. Corey Thomas says, I'm white, contractor in Montana, struggling. You ain't the only one there, Corey. We are all struggling because of the Federal Reserve Bank. They refuse to cut the rates. Trump held up his bargain. The federal government says that if jobs can be produced here in America, where he can bring the jobs back and stop the wars and all this, the rate should be cut. But we know that what's it, Jerome Too Late Powell won't do it because he works for the deep state. That's plain and simple. He will not cut the rates unless it's something is going to happen. I think he's under investigation. One way or the other, those rates are going to be cut. Therefore, you can get your business back on jam. We could be able, because right now the Federal Reserve is the one that's holding us up, not Trump. Jacobs Richard says, yep. Paul says, MAGA back in the business. Yep. Yeah, bitches. Yeah, he's right about that. Paul says, making blue cities safe again. It's about time the blue cities need to be safe again. You have a right to be a blue state, a blue state, but we want you to be safe in that blue state. We don't want you under siege. Paul says, starting with DC, absolutely. Jacob says, I'm living on the border in Yuma, Arizona. I know where that is, home of the military base. You know what I'm saying? I got friends in the Marines base. That's the Marine base out there in Yuma. I used to live in Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know guys that was E5s, Gunny Sergeant, Master Sergeant, Marines, the Devil Dogs, it was the Devil Dogs, the Leathernecks. Yep, that's what that first in battle. Yep, we are the few. We are the proud. We are the Marines. You know what I'm saying? Yep, Arizona. Yep. I know exactly where you are. I know exactly where you are, Jacob. Robert says, hey, can you see my comments, brother? If you say something, I look like I'm reading what you're saying right now, Robert. I'm just trying to play catch up. I'm a little behind me. I'm going to catch up a little bit. Jacob says, I can. Okay, I can. Yeah, I can read. Yeah, I see the comments. I haven't blocked nobody, remember? Yeah, I just want to say to Robert, I haven't blocked nobody, Robert. Everybody been on here talking, even including the trolls. I have not blocked anybody. Let me see here. Can anyone see my comments? Not that I'm being censored. No, you're not being censored. Not from me. Paul says, we like our borders with ICE. And I forgot to mention about ICE, boy, the men and women of ICE extras. Yeah, I love ICE, man, especially right now. Jacob says, yes. Oh, I see them. Okay, Paul says, tell it like it is, my brother. Yeah, I'm telling it like it is because this is exactly what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And ICE too. I support ICE. Everybody should have ICE tip hotline. If you see something that looks out of place, we don't need to complain amongst each other. Just contact the ICE tip hotline. You can go in there anonymous. If you see any illegal activity or whatever, You know what I'm saying? Because that's basically what it is, though. We want the hardworking men and women of ICE to round up these criminal immigrants that's coming into this country because they take our jobs away, they pay them less, they send their money back home, they don't pay into the taxes, they have somewhat of some type of diplomatic immunity coming from the low down liberal left. And this is all under their watch. You know what I'm saying? Here's another one I'm citing. That's exactly what it is. Um, Let me see here. Robert says, "Yes, sir, Paul." Yeah. Jacob says, Tulsi is badass. Yeah, she really is. Tulsi, I'm loving Tulsi right now. Always have. Even when she was a Democrat, served in the military as well, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with it. Corey says, "I love listening to you." I appreciate it, Corey. Thank you so much. Paul says, "I love you guys being in the room, backing me up on this stuff." Much love, MAGA patriots, which I am. I'm a MAGA patriot. I supported Trump. I went to his rallies and everything. I told you I met Don Jr. before, man, cause shook his hand. I got a photo out with me and him together. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. Hopefully I get a chance to meet Trump himself, which I plan on it. Robert says, yeah, Kamala put a mother away from it's true. She locked that mother up in jail because she put the truancy out. Her daughter was out there. They put that with that curfew thing or whatever. When the kids don't go to jail, she said, "I'm gonna lock the mama up." That's how hard she did. Kamala Harris was the one against cash bails, bonds. She was against that. She she actually wanted to take that away. She was the one that when the person served their time, she was the one that falsified and wanted to keep them back in there to get more free labor out of them. I do believe that that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of shit that she did. This old DEI. If it wasn't for downtown Willie Brown, that was his girlfriend. Willie Brown was married and then he had her as a side piece. Everybody know it. She was fucking him on the side while he had a wife and stuff. He's still around, up in his 90s now. Willie Brown, if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have even gotten as far as she did without Willie Brown. That's why we call her downtown Willie Brown. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Paul says thumbs up. Yeah. Robert says, yeah, better, bub. Okay, cool. Corey Thomas says, you sound amazing. I appreciate it, Corey. I'm trying. Okay, yeah. Corey says, kick out rhinos. Paul says, tampon Tim Walsh. Yeah, that idiot out of Minnesota, man. Man, yeah, y'all saw that debate last year. Yeah, JD Vance mopped the floor with Tim Walsh, man. Mopped the floor with that guy. Yeah, it's so funny. Corey says, I grew up on the East Coast and live in Montana. Yeah, the home of the deer and the elk. I think it's just y'all have the elk out there. Yeah, we don't have elk here in Michigan though, man. But yeah, they're bigger than the deer though. You guys are that's cowboy country right there. Jacob says, I grew up in CDA and moved to Yuma, Arizona. Yep. Yeah, I hear that though, man. Yeah, I never visited Yuma. I'm familiar with it because that's where all the military, especially the Marines, out there in Yuma. And then you got is what is it? When I stayed in Phoenix, off of the number 10, you have St. Luke's Air Force Base too. Yep, you have those people there. The JAG. You have yeah, you got quite a military. There's a lot of military bases out there in Arizona for sure. Corey Thomas says, "Amen, brother." Yeah, I appreciate it. Jacob Richards says, "True." Robert, I guess he was talking to him. Okay, glad you are on our side, brother. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, brother. Yeah, I know, right? Man, shout out to Hulk Hogan, man. God darn it. Hulk Hogan, man. It was dirty what Brooke did to him, man. Brooke was the one that ruined Hulk Hogan's career, man. That's fucked up. Let's see here. Yeah, on our side, brother, if you're more, if you know more people, know the truth, right? It's like God said, the truth will set you free. You sure right about that, Robert? You sure right about that? Corey Thomas says, damn, you speak the truth. Yeah, I have to, man. Robert said, FDR sure was when Jesse Owens win the Olympics. Hitler shook his hand, but Roosevelt wouldn't. Exactly, because Roosevelt was a known racist. He hated blacks. Hitler even shook Jesse Owens' hand. The Germans were going crazy when Jesse Owens won, when he ran up against the big German, right? So this is the thing about it, though. It ain't. I mean, we got more racism. They want to talk about Germany. We have more of it here in America with some sitting presidents, and FDR was one of them. Because FDR didn't give black folks welfare. If you think that black folks was getting welfare in FDR's time, you are sadly mistaken. Blacks can get welfare until 65. 1965, that is. Corey says, we the people in the story. That's right. We are all we the people. For the people, by the people, we the people. We are the government. We tell government what to do. All they are representatives before they went rogue. Unfortunately, a lot of these rogue liberal Democrats, and what I mean by that, let me clarify it again. We're talking about the rhinos too, because the rhinos in Republican in name only, as I mentioned earlier, make no mistakes about it. They don't get away scot free either. Unfortunately, we got Rhino Republicans in the House, in the Senate, which they should be getting up on out of there very soon, man. As long as the people are doing their thing where we can vote their ass out. Some of them are going to probably be out there due to corruption anyway. Um, Jacob says, now I'm a state national working on my claim of the life and taking a minute, okay, taking administration back of my what's this cestus quo trust is there. Jacob says, when you are born, the government creates a bond under your name in all capitals. Yep, that's true. And to trade your life worth in capital in the stock market for um profit daily. Yeah, I think this has a lot to do with what Jacob talking about with the birth certificate and how we are on the stock market and all this stuff as common stock. I do believe some of the stuff I know what I think I know where he's coming from with it and things like that. So yeah, it's out cold, man. It's very interesting how we've been played, man. Corey Thomas says, you so get everything and I love it. Oh yeah, I get it. I get it, man. I understand, man. I'm wide awake now, Not woke, but I'm wide awake as to what's going on. We was being taxed from tariffs from other countries for years. It's true. And they robbed us. That's true. The politicians, right? For years, exactly, brother. You keep speaking the truth. I love it. You just gained a new subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you guys. Corey Thomas says the Constitution, we the people. Yep, for the people, by the people. It's true. Corey Thomas says we ain't being taxed by tariffs. That's true. This is why they over here, they don't seem to get the I don't but see again, because they've been up under that democratic what's that what we call hypnosis. They absolutely think the Democrats love poor people and they love the middle class, which they don't. Jacob says, as a living person, you are then declared dead cattle, property at the birth when your mother signs. He's right. Signs you away as a ward to the state. Yep, exactly. As an infant, as an as an informant. Robert says some people like Rhea can't get their head out of the past. It's true. She had to go way back to just Jay, I'm talking about the Central Five. She had to go way back there. She had to go way back there. And we ain't even in that time. Even Trump apologized. It ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying though, he had to go way back there. I mean, to say that, to say what, Rhea? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've been hitting facts all day what they've been doing. And you can't even look, I can't even challenge you to go on the presidential's website and look at his policies that have already been implemented. I'm curious to know what Rhea really know, to be honest, because it's obvious that she's not even aware of the policies that Trump stand on that he already signed off on and wrote executive orders. This was his campaign promise. The first time we ever had the president ever, and this is his second term that's doing it. He's been doing he's been doing the damn thing. Jacob says, truth. We are all trust fund babies worth millions. Yeah, I totally understand that. But the thing about it is, Jacob, none of us know how to unlock our birth certificate because we already know it's supposed to be worth millions on the stock market. They put our asses in slavery. You're absolutely right about it. You know, what does anybody really know truly have anybody done it, Jacob? Have anybody been able to unlock their millions? I know I have it. Corey Thomas says you are so on point. Man, I appreciate it, Corey Thomas, man. You know what I'm saying? This is basically the stuff, man, that I had to learn. Some of this stuff I already knew. When we knew about the deep state, we knew about this deep state way back. I go way back with the Bill Cooper days, the guy that wrote Behold the Pale Horse. I suggest that you guys read that book because that book was jumping off the page. You know, he came here to Michigan. He came to a lot of places. Bill Cooper, they took him out back in Eager, Arizona, man. He had a shootout with the sheriffs up there. This is before 9/11 hit, but he was a true patriot, high military clearance. He was over here whistleblowing, telling all the stuff of what they've been doing in our government. You know what I'm saying? They hated Bill Cooper. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to see it. If Bill Cooper was around today, man, he would be officially a MAGA Trump supporter. I know that for a fact. Robert says, no problem. Just wanted to know. Thanks, Bob. Um, yeah, no problem at all, Robert, man. Anytime, man. I appreciate you guys finding my channel. Corey Thomas says, we need more ice in Montana. We need more ice everywhere there, Corey, and I'm sure we're going to get it because right now there's more people are signing up to become ICE agents. I got to get myself in shape. I may want to get on out there. Jacobs Richard says, trust me, the northern border is about to get real reinforcements. We need it on the north, just as how the south border is already secure. The stopping of fentanyl. This is one of Trump's promises as well. He put pressure on what's her name, Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico. She told China, y'all got to stop allowing fentanyl in our country. It's killing a lot of Americans. But they got the message now. I bet you that. Robert says, all love to you, brothers and sisters, in this channel. I really like it. I'm subbing for you, fam. God bless, right? To all. Thank you so much, Robert, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm just got to get caught up here a little bit. Jacob says, I truly appreciate the truth, exposing the darkness. Exactly. This is exactly what it is, man. Robert says, I love the Trump rallies. I went to in Toledo. Yeah, Toledo. I drive to Toledo quite often. It's only about an hour drive. I've been to Maumee. I've been to what's it, Peters? I mean, what's that? Perrysburg. I've been to Findlay. I'm gonna say I've been to Akron, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Sandusky, Canton. Yeah, I said Akron. I've been to all those places though over there in Ohio. things. I always love driving there, man. It's a nice place, nice and relaxing. This is a place that lets you know you see a lot of farmland out there. They don't have the hustle and bustle as much once you get outside of the city. Jacob says, "Yep, she fled her way to the yeah, I know, right? To the top of the California politics. And that was due to Willie Brown because we already know Willie Brown, if it wasn't for Willie, she wouldn't be where she's at today. Robert says, I'm from Toledo, Ohio, brother. Cool. You're in Michigan. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're right next to each other, man. Robert says 310 to Yuma. Great movie. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check it out. Corey Thomas says JD Vance, the next GOAT. Oh yeah, JD is looking really great. I like JD, man. He very presidential like. I mean, he just be filleting them in his JD way, Jacob says, hell yeah, love that movie. I'm gonna have to check that out. Robert says there's a say that he didn't pass away H from normal issues. They're saying it was suspicious. Yeah. Let's see here. Corey Thomas says, say your prayers, take your vitamins. Rest in peace, Hawk. Yep, I know, right? Let me see here. Trying to get myself caught up here. Let me push away. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty much almost there. There it is. Yep. You guys have been great, man. You guys, I'm over here. I'm just kind of scanning through the comments right now. Yeah, Bill Cooper. Behold a Pale Horse. Yeah, man, I love that book, man. I got it in my library right now. That guy right there put it down, man. Quiet War. He put it down. You know, he sure did. Jacob says yes, it is. Was suspicious that they found him in a hanger wrapped around his neck. Yep, yep, yeah, man. Yep. So this is the thing about it, though. Yep. Yep, I was talking about the Hawkster being suspiciously, oh yeah, right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah, the Hawkster too, man. Yeah, the Hawkster, man. I grew up watching Hawkamania, you know. What you gonna do when Hawkamania runs over on you, brother? Yeah, I mean, there was all that going on. It was cool though, man. It was too bad about Brooke that sold Hulk Hogan out, man. And that's got him fired, lost that reality show, and couldn't be on WWE no more because he's so synonymous to WWE. I remember him on WWF. If you guys been around on that, so yeah, I was a big fan, and he was a Trump supporter too. That's the thing about it. Hulk Hogan had enough sense to be conservative, like a lot of us are, man. But I really enjoying you guys, man. Y'all being great, man. And I'm promise I'm gonna start bringing this heat more often, though, because it's us that makes the world go around, man. When we stand up against tyranny and not and speaking truth to power, man. And what is hidden in the dark, she'll be in the light, as they always say, though. And that's the thing about it. These individuals that have ran willy nilly on our government and tried to shut us down and tried to turn America into a third world. This is America, the red, the white, the blue, man. This is the place here. And I'm gonna try to do one in the daytime but you can see my face a little bit more. It's just like I don't really like telegraphy. Hey, I'm out here in the car at night with the lights on, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta still watch ninjas, you know what I'm saying? You gotta keep a mind on that. But yeah, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great live that we have. I mean, I enjoyed this live. This is like one of my best ones ever in a long time, in a while. And I said that I wanted to talk about this Brandon Johnson thing, which we already did that. We knocked it out of the park and stuff. And like I said before, I'm gonna try to get Danny C and them. What is the attorney Chicago, flipping Chicago Red Group, and they've been doing an excellent job banging against Brandon Johnson because they know damn well that Brandon Johnson don't stand with the locals there. The local majority of the Chicagoans, he don't rock with them. He rocks with these illegals and corruption. Yeah, Robert says, my 7-year-old son started school tomorrow. That's right. A lot of them got to go back to school. I just couldn't sleep. Gratefully to find this channel. God bless, fellas. Glad to be in this room. Man, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, man. And I know you're supposed to be getting your sleep, man. Your 7-year-old son gonna start school tomorrow. Shout out to your son, man. That's a beautiful thing, though, man. I'll be seeing them because I'm gonna be picking them a lot of them up tomorrow too, and things. Now that school has returned, I'm talking about with a lot of these college kids, more so though. I don't really get the young kids very much when you're driving for Uber and all this other stuff, though, you know. But yeah, that's the thing about it, though, man. I'm thinking about getting my CDL and stuff like that, CDL license and things to be able to drive that semi truck. Cause I got friends that are truckers and things too, you know. Shout out to the truck drivers, you know. Put a shout out to the truck drivers, shout out to our military, shout out to our law enforcement. You guys are the first responders, firefighters, first responders, EMS first responders. You know what I'm saying? What we call any first responders. Shout out to you guys, though. Have much love for you as well, and everyone else that I have much love for too. Jacob says, "Yeah, man, I gotta get my kid to sleep." Both teenagers, yeah, fight getting to bed. I know, right? Robert says, "Yeah, there are gonna be a lot of jobs that will be opening up in the CDL hub." Yeah, I'm gonna be, man. That's why I say, man. I got a friend of mine that hauls fuel. I got some people that haul. I got a friend in Canada. I spend a lot of time over there as well, though, too. Y'all remember what happened to the Canadian truckers? You know what I'm saying? Over there, before I go over there in the UK, y'all remember? The UK was out there protesting this. It was earlier yesterday morning. They're over there fighting and things. They were so inspired to see Americans called, us Americans, right? You know, they over there fighting for their rights over there, man, because it's bad over there, man. In the UK, man, they over there trying to take their freedom of speech away. And we're, what makes us in a better situation. And anybody from the UK, I don't mean no ill when I say this, but your uh, rights are not rights. They're privileges given to you by your government. That's the biggest problem with you guys as well as Aussies, you know. You guys have an issue with your government. Like with us, our rights was given to us by the people, not by the government. And unless if you have something like a constitution, you're gonna always be jacklayed by these old low down ass fucking ass politicians and shit. These people in government. And that's the problem though. This is what makes America so great because everybody comes here because they can't do the shit that they can in their country. They don't have freedom of speech. When you can't practice your own religion and other things, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Robert says, let me see. Robert says, yeah, they stopped their bank accounts when the COVID happened. And Justin Castro Trudeau, right? He looked just like Castro too. LOL. Yeah, he did them truckers wrong. Yeah, he sure did. They did those truckers wrong, man. And even with Canada, man, the Canadian people had no problems with. The problem is that the Canadian government, because they bark out the rules, they bark out the rights to the people. The people are given privileges. You know how hard it is to get a gun over there in Canada? I mean, you can get one that they just take you through a whole lot of red tape. I got a friend of mine right now that's going through a lot of red tape just to own a gun, you know? If you look at Canada, 80% of their population falls along the border in Canada. You know, that's how big Canada is. They don't have nowhere near the population. It's a big landmass. It's a continent, but with us in Canada, whole North America is a continent, right? But the problem is that it's a lot of uninhabited areas over there in Canada. Everybody that's Canadian, most of the people are living amongst that border. And can y'all imagine though too, before I go, Manitoba, right? and you look at, was it Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Edmond, Alberta, and all these. I mean, I'm talking about Alberta itself, as well as British Columbia, Vancouver. Can you imagine if those particular provinces join on to the United States? Because a lot of them are conservative. They don't like their government. Their government is against their people over there in Canada. They got high ass taxes over there, HST, PST, GST, elemental P. Their taxes in Canada is kicking their ass majorly. You know, the average of the Canadians are practically damn near working poor. A lot of them don't have a whole lot of money, you know, because shit is so high. And this is why the homeless rate is so out of control right now. I mean, just look at it. Justin Trudeau is the main culprit as to why Canada is fucked up right now. You know, that's that's who the culprit is because they bought into the wokeism. They bought into the LGBT transgender ass shit that's destroying them. Because if it was working for them, you know, if all that shit really worked on the behalf of the Canadians, why are they in a disarray right now? In a downward spiral going straight down. If their country, if they're doing so well, though, they didn't need America. They need America. They need it. That's why they call the welfare nation. They ain't by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Fidel Castro, Robert says that's why a lot of people that leave this country and find out when they have moved to other countries, despite Trump, find out America is the best country, period. Yeah, you're right. Have led okay, and to learn the hard way. LOL. It's true. Unfortunately, I got a relative right now that believe in this foolishness. She think that she's gonna be better off being in Mexico somewhere. You know, you just have to let them follow their own foolish ways there, Robert. I mean, that's really what it is. Cause she ain't the only one. You had like a lot of these blacks that were rolling up out of here, going over there to Ghana, and they found out. That's why a lot of them are moving back, you know, because even the people from Ghana don't like Americans or whatever like that. They were trying to sell them, trying to rip them off, charging them high price on everything. If Ghana was so great, the Ghanese people wouldn't be over here in America. If Ghana was so great, any of these people countries, if it was so great, their ass would be over there in their country. But you over here in America, that says a whole lot. Robert says, "Yep, I heard the same thing." Jacob Richards, yeah. Robert says, "Double tap your 7 guys to like this channel and kind of give these guys all a little love with the algorithms." Man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You guys have really been killing it, man, supporting this channel tonight. Robert says, so true. Trudeau is so hated in Canada. They can't stand if they could get away with stringing Justin Trudeau up, Justin, what we call him, Fidel Castro up, because we already know he's supposed to be the son of Fidel Castro, right? And he looks a lot like Fidel Castro every time I see Justin Trudeau. You know, it was funny seeing him grovel and bow before Trump, their president, right? That's the thing about it. The 51st, but like I said, we don't need all of Canada because I don't like Ontario government over there, and I don't like Quebec either. Those are the two. I like the people. I don't like the government over there. I'm gonna get to clarify that real quick. It's the Canadian government in those particular areas that I can't stand. I love the people out west more because they're more conservative. But I don't like these people over there. We don't want those liberal loving people to join on to America. The only way they'll be a part of America, they have to be willing to give up that wokeism and stuff. We don't support transgender. We don't support the rainbow flag. We ain't supporting none of that shit. We ain't gonna deal with it. You know, the only thing we're gonna deal with is the good old American and American days, you know. That's what we're gonna deal with. We're not dealing with all that foolishness. We are not gonna do it. But I really appreciate y'all for coming in on my live this night. We've really been knocking. I've been trying to knock this thing out the park, giving you guys that good old truth. Everything I say, I stand on it 100%. 110% that I stand on. That Trump should have, he's going to have his face up on that Mount Rushmore well after he's gone. Hopefully, I'll live to see it. See that, see his face up there on Mount Rushmore. Because that's the thing about it, though. Yeah, he's going to go down as one of the greatest presidents that did it. Because, like I said, he's been taking on a hell of a fight. There's no other man that I can even think of that can do battle like Trump has. That's a fact. Robert says, listen to Jacob, his mom messing around with Castro, right? Was around, okay, was around, and the timeline matches perfectly. Yeah, it does. And not to mention, did you know about Justin's brother that died in a suspicious avalanche? I didn't know about that one. No, I didn't. I didn't know about that one. I didn't know about his brother dying. Jacob says, hell yeah, they have already paid for their artisan. Yeah, hell yeah, they already paid. Yeah, I didn't know about his brother though, dying suspiciously. Yeah, that's the thing about it though too. Justin Trudeau is nothing. I mean, that guy wasn't fit to run the damn country. He didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk though. I'm over here when I'm bringing you guys this live, bringing you. We talking about the facts and the truth, and I'll be happy to see the military in Chicago, just like I'm gonna be happy to see them in Detroit. I'm gonna be able to see them in Maryland, and all these other areas, man, because we need them. We do. Jacob says yes. His brother came out against him publicly and died in a snowboarding mysteriously. Yeah, and that's what they do. They take anybody that's a threat and try to silence the truth. But we way past those days now, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much truth coming out on a lot of these private streams like myself and others bigger names that's way bigger than mine. And they talk about certain things about the ridiculousness of the Democratic Party because we already talked about it. The Rhino Republicans are nothing more than liberals. That's why it's all Democrat. That's what a lot of these Democrat bleeding heart liberals they think that the Rhino Republicans they absolutely think that these people are Republicans when they're actually Democrats. Just Republican in name only, as I mentioned earlier. That's basically what it is. But let me see here. Other than that, man, we knocked it out of the park. I don't let the trolls dictate and derail from the truth. They try to come in here, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? They try to come in here and try to be disruptive, but that's the thing about it. And normally I have mods though too. And I may have to make a couple of you guys some mods on here, maybe on my next live or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, as well, because I love keeping my shotters, my shooters. You guys will be my shooters out there, shooting them down. If they get too besides themselves, I let them, because freedom of speech, I let them say some stuff, say what they want to say in here. It just helps out the algorithm anyway. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for the other likes. I thank you for all the likes tonight, though, because like I said, though, it's been a great time just doing this, taking a break from driving. I can talk to a lot of you guys out here, and we have real conversations, real things out here talking about instead of all this other foolishness. I'm about saving this country and exposing the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to be done, though. Because right now, Trump is our greatest president in our generation. It's a known fact. He will have his face up on that Mount Rushmore. I do believe that. Let me see here. What else we have here? Got to go back and read some stuff here real quick. Let's see here. Oops, wait a moment. Robert says, yeah, Jacob. He mentioned he was just in home and playing chess. He would still be alive, but he was so heartless about it in the interview I saw Jacob Richards. Okay, my favorite truth teller lately is David Nino, right? Rodriguez. the boxer turned to truth teller. I also like the Patriot Street Fighter. Um, yeah, I like any type of patriot that stands up for truth, though, no matter what profession you are. You know what I'm saying? We need more. We need real, more brave, real strong alpha men to come forward and start bringing the truth. You know, Robert says, I like Neo. He was a fighter for the truth. After getting started a couple of years ago, he's a good dude, Jacob. Jacob says Scott McKay and Juan said Sabin, David Neo Rodriguez. Yeah, Jacobs Richard says, yeah, the way he talks about his own brother dying was so cold and kind of evil. Yeah, I'm not familiar with these particular people, but I'm gonna have to look into it though, man. But other than that, man, you guys all have been great, man. I really appreciate it. I said to myself, I know I was gonna get some MAGA supporters on here. Robert says, you know about Isaac Cappy getting taken out by Tom Hanks and his kid killer. That's why he moved to Greece, a non-extradited country. Yeah, I heard about Tom Hanks getting out of here. You know, he left out of here, and stuff like that. But I didn't know all of it. I thought it had something to do with the alleged Epstein. But what you're saying is something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Damn, a kid killer? I didn't know that. Jacob says Justin it was Castro Trudeau. Yeah, I know, right? From Castro. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, we all can learn a few things from some people. Yeah, I heard about Tom Hanks. I know he left out of here. You know, they go to these countries where they think that they can't be expedited. But you know, like I said before, the long arm of the law is incumbent upon these individuals. You know, I know we done heard many stories about Oprah Winfrey, you know, Ellen DeGeneres. I don't really know what Rosie O'Donnell did, but I know she always had a beef with Trump though, way before. Y'all remember? Rosie O'Donnell couldn't stand Trump way back in the days, you know. Kathy Lee Gifford, I believe her too. They were some of the ones I used to like their beefs though too, man. You know. Robert said, yeah, his social media has pictures on all sort of clothing, shoes, and crazy stuff, like showing Hanks exposed him for a creepy, evil mofo. He is. Everyone's pretty much knows about this dude. Yeah, yeah. Are you talking about Tom Hanks? Yeah, we're gonna find out though, man, because there's still a lot of people that don't know about what he did and what was going on. And I know it had to be some stuff that he did secretly for him getting out of fleeing out of the United States. But I know that we are gonna come to it though soon enough, you know. But yeah, other than that though, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead on and end this live. You guys have been great, man. I really appreciate y'all showing up in the news. Don't be a stranger. I'm gonna do some more tomorrow and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Robert says because when Trump talked about running on Oprah's show, talked about running for president. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that because him and Oprah was real close back in the days. In fact, Al Sharpton, Oprah Winfrey, Jesse Jackson. Yeah, Trump had a lot to do with helping Jesse when he was running for president back in '84. If it wasn't for Trump, and that was even then, a lot of rappers love Trump. He was on WWF, I believe, as well as WWE with Ed McMahon and all that stuff. Yeah, this is the guy that a lot of the blacks in the black community used to love Donald Trump, and a lot of them still do. Besides the slander and what the false media has been doing, he's the one. Trump is even the one that helped Mike Tyson out when a lot of them didn't step out. But Trump did. Trump helped out Mike Tyson and stuff because Mike Tyson did 6 years in the Indiana State Prison, right, for that alleged rape that they tried to say that he did. but Trump helped him out, you know. So and then the list goes on and on with others that Trump helped out. Trump don't brag about a lot of things that he do for people. He just do it because it's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead on and end it. Let's see. Robert says, "Yeah, God bless. I'll check you out soon. God bless to you all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The blacks loved him, but the blacks loved him, but when they were starting to get concerned was when Epstein list came out and exposed it. But here it is though, Robert, you had blacks that turned on Trump as soon as he said Republican because he was a Democrat long before he was a Republican. I don't know how old you are, but it's absolutely true. Trump ran as a Democrat. And when he ran as a Democrat, he also helped out Hillary, Bill Clinton. He gave a lot of money to them as well. He gave out, he helped Jesse Jackson when he was running to be president in 1984. He ran on that campaign. Guess who helped out Jesse Jackson? That was Donald Trump once again. You know, Al Charlatan. He helped out Al Charlatan, another person I never liked, right? He helped these people out, gave them a lot of money, right? This is the one they come around here and calling him a racist. They took the racist money, but he know he wasn't a racist, but they took his money. Ain't that rich? They took his money. Shit, the racist that helped out Mike Tyson, right? Shit, Mike Tyson may knock somebody in the mouth talking bad to Donald Trump because, like I said, Mike Tyson, one of the heavyweight champion of the world, one of the best boxers that ever did it, one of them, right? That helped him out because he was in prison for 6 years over an alleged rape that he didn't do, right? Robert says the kid touchers and they all turned against him. Yeah, exactly. The kid touchers, the Epstein client list, you know what I'm saying? They want Trump to be on that list so bad, but they don't have nothing. The Democrats don't have nothing. They think that this guy is on the list. If that was the case, why are you going to wait until 2025? You could have used that back then when he was running for president if you had something for real. The list, just like that letter, was made up. That's why he had to sue, what's that, the Washington Post? He sued Rupert Murdoch over at Fox News. He's got a lot of money coming to him, though. Rupert Murdoch didn't retract his statement. Rupert Murdoch is a millionaire a million times over. He didn't have to write that. He wrote it because Rupert Murdoch hates Trump because Trump can't be controlled. That's why he hates him and other reasons too. Oh, low down ass Rupert Murdoch. That's why I don't like Fox News either. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of these old clowns. As I said, I didn't cook. Man, I was cooking tonight. Boy, wasn't I? I was over here smoking, man. I was cooking their ass tonight. And I'm gonna cook them some more the next time, though. I said, you give me a little time, I get to cooking. Don't worry about the trolls. I cook them too. And I cook anybody else that want this work. I give it to you. And that's one thing about it. Like I always let people know, I'm a Second Amendment gun rights owner, you know? So that's the thing about it. We don't mess around. Robert, let me see here. Let me see. Let me read this one. Robert says, I'm 43. Yep. 43. Yep. We are right. And now saying that the blacks just are okay, the blacks just the ones that were saying he was a racist. Yeah, that's the one they were saying. Yeah, because they can't think on themselves without their big daddy Democratic elite liberal ass politicians and all the rest of them that put that in their head. Yep. I call him L Sharp Tongue. Yeah, Sharp Tongue, charlatan. He don't get no respect in mine. I'm gonna tell you a story that happened. My mother ran into Al Sharpton over there in Atlanta. going through the airport exchange, and she went up to Al Sharpton, and that's back then when my mother was a Democrat. You know, I don't fault her against it. She's a Republican MAGA supporter now, and things, but thanks to me, because I just walked her down on the facts, things that she could not dispute. You know, but at any event, yeah, he snubbed her, man, and things like that. She told me about it though. So that's the thing about it though, you know. So this guy wasn't even genuine enough to talk to a woman that approached him to just congratulate him. I always said he was a arrogant little bastard. And most of these old baby boomer ass fuckers that I don't respect anyway, they are the ones that fail the black community and shit like that. That's why I stay on their ass. And I ain't gonna let up on their ass either. My brother go 10 times hard on that baby boomer ass because they the ones that fucked the black community up. You know, the old Motown, them motherfuckers, right? You know what I'm saying? And all the rest of them. That's why they failed our Generation X generation. That's why I go hard that I do. They part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Part of the problem. Instead of educating themselves, they rather listen to lies and act like little bitches that they are. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. Little bitches. You know. Robert says Trump was seeing a beautiful black woman that he walked up. I mean, walked down the red carpet. She said she never. Okay, and he was never a racist due to know the lady I am speaking of, and the lady, she was a black model, beautiful. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Trump ain't no damn racist, but he's so stupid, lazy. You know, a lot of them. You know, most of your liberals are just low IQ anyway. They're not very smart. You know, very emotional, like little bitches. And one thing I can't stand is a man, a male liberal, which is worse than a woman. You know, I told you a little bit how I got into a little debate with one of these old heads earlier. He's just an acquaintance, not even a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it when I'm over here. If we're gonna have a debate, you gotta let me talk. Don't jump and talk. And I told him, man, I said, that's no, don't ever disrespect me again like this is what I told him. You know what I'm saying? And this is a guy that's a millionaire. I don't give a damn if you're a millionaire. You ain't gonna disrespect me. I don't give a fuck about you having no millions. I ain't no woman. I don't have no hole between my legs. And I sure ain't gonna kiss no damn man's ass. I wouldn't expect him to kiss my ass. But don't come at me like that. I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? Shit. At the end of the day, I'm a man, damn it. You know what I'm saying? We don't do no shit like that, is what I told him. You know what I'm saying? Because he got butt hurt because I was kicking his behind on these facts. When you come to me, you better have your facts. Don't come up here with this other crap. Cause I could have took his money. Cause I told him that Obama is going to prison, and I am gonna bet that $10,000, and he gonna pay up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. He gonna pay up. But other than that, man, I appreciate you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Robert says, I love my Second Amendment. Yeah, we all as Americans should value and cherish the Second Amendment gun right laws. As an American, you have that right. You let no man infringe on your rights, especially these liberties that we are being given by the people for the people, not by the government, but by the people for the people. We are the ones that created the Constitution for everyone, everybody, not for the set few. You know what I'm saying? I go to the gun range quite often and I shoot a little something, something. And I expect for you guys to do the same thing or whatever. This country, we are a right to form militias. We have the right to hold assemblies and so forth in a peaceful manner. You can protest, hold assemblies, and all this other stuff. We got the freedom of speech, right? We have the right, freedom of religion, and freedom of the press. These are the 27 amendments that we have as Americans. We all have this right. You know what I'm saying? You could be Muslim, Hindu, whatever you can. You don't have to worry about somebody. Nobody should tell you or be under persecution because of your religion or freedom of speech. If I'm in a public forum, I have freedom of speech. Be able to speak and say without any type of malice or hatred, right? Robert says, yep, stay vigilant. We are our first responders. Don't ever forget that, brother. I will not forget that. We are our first responders. You know what I'm saying? Yep, we really are. You know, that's why I support law enforcement when they write. I support them, fire, military, all this stuff. Our first responders, man. They put their life on the line. ICE, they put their life on the line. You know what I'm saying? National reserves and all the rest of them, right? They you know, they put their behind, they put their lives on the line. But you're absolutely right, man. That's why they rock with me on this channel and things like that. We ain't got time for it, man. So I doubt if I hear from that guy anytime soon. I should have took his money though, because he's gonna when Obama's wearing those silver bracelet handcuffs before you go, because he's gonna run me that $10,000 if I bet on it. But I'm gonna catch him. I know I'm gonna run into him though, and I said, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make that bet. Why not? We'll make the $10,000 bet. But I know you're gonna be giving. I know he's gonna be giving up that money when Obama is in jail where he belongs. We're gonna see who the real criminal is, right? The one that's been running willy nilly on the American people and shit like that. The stupid black people that voted for him in the first place. I wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? So when I mean stupid and dumb, that's exactly what I mean. Because they rather see a first, and he ain't the first black president. Before you go, he ain't the first black. There was presidents that was before that's black. They just don't know about him. I'm gonna do another live on that one day too, where I'm gonna actually bust that myth up, destroy that. Talking about he the first black president. Bullshit. Okay, guys, y'all take care of yourselves. I'm about to get out myself. Y'all have a wonderful morning, and I gotta get back to work myself though. But I appreciate you guys showing me love. I appreciate you all. Yeah, can't. Okay, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I appreciate you, Robert, man. You guys have been rocking, man. Y'all really been doing y'all thing, man, and stuff like that. So yeah, I really appreciate you all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for the likes and the hearts and all that great stuff. I know I'm winding down now, man, but I do what I can to make sure I spread that good information out. Yep. But I will see y'all all tomorrow on my other live night, fam. God bless. Take care. We all are Americans, black, white, and other. Peace out. All right. Thank you.